to find how to get rid of this.
The names in the lower left hand of the screen. One box per person in the room.
I don't like the big box. I don't mind the names being there. It's just the big box that I don't like. But I put the R in the chat. I believe that the words. I do believe that James and I are both ready whenever you are.
Alrighty, then let's go ahead and kick this off.
Here we go.
Our adventure begins very simply. It was supposed to be an easy job. A couple of wanderers, such as yourself, in the city of Neverwinter, barely scraping by. It was good news when you received a letter from an old friend. A dwarven prospector by the name of Gundren Rockseeker. He asked you to bring a wagon load of provisions to the rough and tumble settlement of Phandelver, a mining town recently established a couple of days southeast travel of the large city of Neverwinter. He was clearly excited and more than a little secretive about his reasons for the trip, saying only that he and his brothers had found something big. He'd pay you 10 gold pieces each for escorting the supplies safely to Barthen's Provisions, a trading post in Phandelver. Drinks were had, the deal was made, and he set out ahead of you on horse, along with a warrior escort by the name of Sildar Hallwinter, a human man of maybe 50 years, claiming that they needed to arrive early in order to take care of some business. Tell me, as you've spent the last few days following the high road south from Neverwinter, recently veering east along the Tribor Trail, who are our adventurers? How do they know Gundren Rockseeker, and what history, if any, do they have with each other? And if you'd like, please go ahead and describe your character's physical appearance as well.
I'll let you go first.
Well, hello, Grand Universe. I am Ditorm, last name not known yet. Don't worry about it. I know Gundren because he, as a merchant, he has, sold provisions to my church, where I was basically born and raised to be God's chosen executioner. My job is basically to find, general miscreants is a bit of a loose term. I mostly look for people who are killers who kill for fun and profit, and it's my job to kill them in return. So that way, life can flourish as intended, as uninterrupted. I take no pleasure in my job because I know full well the value of life. Uh, I'm on this job in particular because I was worried. I heard that there might have been, some bloodthirsty miscreants over here, and I guess I'll feed them their own blood today. That's the plan, anyway.
Very well said, Ditorm.
Thank
What
you.
about yourself, Lenar?
I am Lanner. Um, I come from a family of Kenra. Uh, I am second generation in Neverwinter. Uh, we come from a different area, more deserty. Um, but we live here. Our parents let us go through, or I say our, but my twin died. It is very not good.
Sad.
It's words that I cannot even bring myself to say. It is important in our culture for us to have our siblings and to live our lives with our siblings, and especially our twins. But mine died some years back. They were always really sickly, and really it was really horrible and awful. And now I medicine. I have to. Like this, it was ridiculous. Like medicine should be affordable and
Accessible.
it shouldn't have happened. and I practice my medicine now. My medicine skill is on this reckless Azumar guy, and I try my hand at creating different medicines, and I need all kinds of reagents. So anywhere I can get them and money to get them, it's very nice, very lovely.
Well, the life of adventure pays quite well. Certainly well enough to purchase even the most rare and sought after alchemical components. And Lana, though you've lost a twin, bereaved as you are, you have at the very least gained a willing, I assume, test subject in the form of thy Torm. Now tell me,
Yeah.
both of you, though you have of course been traveling together for some days now along the dusty high road south of Neverwinter, how is it that the two of you met and began to travel together?
I like to think what happened was I have a map with me. You see, I have this map because as part of my, I guess, training, I would do like mock patrols around Neverwinter, keep an eye out for any bullying or wrongdoing, handle it if I thought I could, alert the authorities if I thought I couldn't. But sometimes I think I overestimated myself, got a little hurt, and was walking back home, visibly like bleeding in places. That's probably when I met you. What do you think?
Yes. So random kid would keep showing up day after day, walking past our place, and just covered in cuts and scrapes and bruises, and even like back when my sibling was still alive. And so it was just like, you know, do what I can, help out random kid here. Um, wouldn't be the only time I would practice medicinal stuff. And it just kept happening. And so I guess he's my friend slash bodyguard slash minor nuisance in that he always gets hurt.
Even though you were twins, I get the idea that you were always more of the big sister in the relationship with your own kinspeople. It definitely seems that way in your relationship with Torm.
Yes. So Rannall was very sickly, and so it was often my responsibility to help take care of them.
Even as a child, it seems that for Lanner there was a fated path to be walked, an interest in medicine, in taking care of others. Dietorm, do you feel a sense of indebtedness to this person that you travel with, or is it out of convenience and familiarity?
I don't know if indebted is the right word, but I do think like I admire her ambition to be to for lack of a better term to be like a heckin' doctor to like because like ideally spreading medicine is a far more honorable thing than killing people is, and I appreciate that about her a lot. I enjoy having her around, and honestly, if like I think we make a pretty good team. It's like I'd like to accompany her on her travels to help the downtrodden. And then if those people are downtrodden because someone is trotting down on them, well, that's where I come in.
If someone's trotting down on them, very well
Yep.
said. So, Lanner, Torm, what did the two of you look like? Your characters' physical appearances?
So I am a 6'4" tall man. I'm fairly muscular, like visible biceps. You know. Sorry, I had to pause. I'm like a sort of like my physical stature is pretty much like a stereotypical fantasy barbarian. I'm big. I'm muscular. The only real difference between me and them is that my face it looks uncannily young, clean shaven, small chin. Like if it weren't for the fact that I was on a big muscular body, you'd probably confuse me with like a teenager.
You
On
get
top of
carded at
that,
all the taverns.
I'm sorry.
I said you get carded at all the taverns.
Yeah, I do get carded at all the taverns. The thing is, right? I'm also like snow white skin, sky blue eyes, and like an ashy blonde hair. I feel like I intimidate a lot of people. I look a little too wrong to them. Like, not quite right, if that makes sense, but, you know.
Very good. Something of the angelic in your very blood that might make the hair stand on end for us mortal folk. Lanner, what about yourself?
I'm a bit of an oddball. Almost akin to Tabaxi, relatively humanoid body, but the head of an animal, particularly a jackal. I happen to be all black with like goldish in my ears and golden eyes. Uh, Pretty short, about 5'5". Um, but kind of an aura of intimidation. It's the older sibling take responsibility in me that kind of imbues that. But I won't turn someone in need down.
Very good. As our two adventurers have been heading south from Neverwinter for a couple days now, it's been easy going for the most part, though in the dead heat of summer, as we currently find ourselves, Lanner has been coping with the blaze overhead a little bit better than Torm has. A great deal of pinkish reddishness beginning to form on his cheekbones and on his rippling biceps as well. Yet Molly, the ancient, dusty-headed ox who is pulling your cart laden with goods, appears to be taking it worst of all, heaving and panting with every step of the way, though you were assured by Gundren that, she's a sturdy girl. Don't mind if she complains a bit from time to time. Plenty of work left in her life. As you've been picking your way along, occasional traders, travelers, or even refugees destined for Neverwinter have not had too many words of warning for you, though everybody tells you to look out for bandits, look out for goblins, as they're known to prey upon these roads. And more unsettlingly, you did hear a rumor one evening as you pulled your cart up alongside a circled wagon train loaded with supplies, merchants heading north to Neverwinter from even deeper south in Baldur's Gate. Rumors of a dragon sighted over the Sword Mountains recently, though dragonkind has not lived this close to civilization in decades. Such rumors, of course, cast off as the ranting or the ravings of the drunk or the delirious. Yet, the most notable enemy thus far has been the sheer boredom. Rolling green hills in all directions, the stifling heat, the continual clip-clop of Molly's hooves along the road. How have the two of you been passing the time?
I have been reading many a book, as I tend to pick some up from time to time from the merchants.
I've probably been staring out over the countryside, and partially in amazement, partially out of sheer boredom. I don't have much to keep me company. I'll like play with my mouse companion Mildred a little bit if I can. Keep an eye out for for these bandits and goblins and dragons I guess we've been hearing about. Of course, everyone wants to dismiss the dragon, but it's always but if someone says they saw a dragon, I'm gonna believe they saw a dragon.
What if they didn't see a dragon, though? What if they just saw, like, just a really big bird? Those exist.
I'm gonna look over to Molly. I'm gonna be like, I think a really big bird would like our really big cow. So, we should still probably keep an eye out.
Molly lets out a disconcerted and bats
Don't worry, Molly,
toward you, as though she can tell she's being talked about.
Don't worry, girl. We'll keep you safe. We love you.
as the cart continues to grind along. Lanner, what sort of subjects have you been reading about?
Um, as much as I would love to say that I've been taking this time to study up and work on things, I've been really into this romance series recently uh, about a prince who gets married to a commoner girl, and she's really wealthy, and she and her prince husband plan to take down the royal family together.
Oh, you remember the elderly halfling woman who sold it to you for only a few coppers. Lacy shawl, big half-moon spectacles, the campfire glittering in them as you sat around in your most recent encounter upon the road. She looked toward you and said, "Diamond in the rough. It's one of my favorites. Plenty of spicy bits, and the storytelling's actually fairly good as well. You know, the author was the same who did The Wizard's Staff and The Wizard's Tower, and..."
Oh, I love the Wizard's Tower.
She gave you a roguish wink and said, "Oh, we all do, honey, though maybe not at this age." As you continue to pick your way along the road, Molly lets out a sudden in disconcertment. Along the Tribor Trail for about 3 days now, and as you come around a bend, you can see in this wooded area that the path cuts through 2 dead horses, tack and bridle still evident upon them, sprawled about 50 feet ahead of you, blocking the path.
That's an ambush if I've ever seen one.
Almost immediately, your senses toward danger begin to perk up, only underscored by the fact that each of the horses has several black flighted arrows sticking out of them. As you scan the sides of the road, the woods press close to the trail here with a steep embankment and dense thickets on either side.
Well,
Maybe, is there another path that we could possibly take, even one that might be rougher? Like, I want to ask the driver about this.
I think I'm the driver.
You're not the
Indeed.
driver.
One of you is the driver. You could ask Molly about it, maybe.
Well, listen. Yeah, it's just us on this cart.
Oh, I thought there was someone else.
No, he I'm going to speak out of character. Instead of doing his job and keeping the shipment safe, he went ahead and he's going to get paid for going ahead.
Oh, I thought he was still with us this whole time, if I'm honest.
No, he's like, I got stuff to do. Bye, and left.
Oh.
But anyway, speaking as the driver, I'm going to say, first of all, I don't think this is going to be an ambush because this cart has already been ambushed. Right? Like, they already got their loot. Didn't even bother cleaning up afterwards. That's the other thing. These poor horses are lying here in the middle of the road, dead. Do they have there's a carriage or anything, or is it just the horses?
There's no carriage. There's not really... Well, if you'd like to make a survival check to maybe look for signs of one, but you certainly don't see one visibly.
I will do a survival check to see if there's any signs of a carriage.
Our first roll of the campaign.
Yay.
There we go.
With a 4, you can see that the old dirt road before you is so thick and rutted with wheel tracks, hoof prints, and of course boot prints from those who cannot afford other transportation. It's difficult to tell whether any of them may have belonged to a carriage passing here recently.
Okay, and I'm assuming I also can't see if these particular horses have visible hoof prints leading them to this particular spot in the road.
With a 4, unfortunately not. To use I hate that this is the first metaphor that springs to my mind, but your attempts to find specific tracks here, sort of like running a black light over a cheap motel room.
Okay. Well, anyway, like I was saying, I don't think this is an ambush. Clearly, the horses have already been ambushed, and whatever valuables were here were taken. Secondly, these poor creatures haven't even had like a proper service. The least we could do is like pull them off the road, and like I don't know, we can cremate them, give them a proper sending off to the afterlife.
How often do people even give burial services to animals? Let's be real.
It doesn't matter if they died; they deserve a service because they lived.
Molly lets out an approving moo at your words, Torm.
Look, don't worry about this. I'm gonna like bend my hands forward so like my fingers bend back and like crack, if that makes sense. Look, I'll get them out of the way. I'll get this set up. You just stay here and read. This will be done in like half an hour or so.
Okay. Fine.
I'm trying to think if I want to take my axe with me to sort of help me like get leverage to roll these poor horses off the road.
They are enormous beasts, well-bred riding horses, stocky as they breed them in Neverwinter for long travel.
I will take my axe to use as leverage to get these horses off the road, and I nonchalantly approach the horses.
Very good. As you nonchalantly approach the horses, you can see something
I guess I nonchalantly, but like in a sad way, I guess, because I'm still sad the horses are dead.
Very fair. As you somewhat remorsefully approach the horses, in that case, you can see something as you move forward from that 50-foot interval, that the saddlebags are open, clearly looted, though nearby you can see an empty leather case. A scroll tube, it looks like, or something appropriate for keeping a map in.
Yep, these horses sure have been looted. Which I guess, I mean, it's a good thing he hired us, but also, I'll need to circle back and figure out, well, if I circle back, the trail might go cold.
What did you find?
I found that the horses have been looted.
And what are you muttering to yourself about over there?
Well, clearly we've got a couple of killers on our hand, if only because they killed these horses. But, you know, if they're willing to kill horses, they're probably willing to kill people, which means I gotta come back and kill these guys. So,
Are you wanting to make a detour, or are you wanting to make the delivery first?
I mean, I want to take the detour first. But since it's just the two of us, I don't know if we can... Like, would you be okay sitting here while I go running off in the woods trying to find our killers?
That wouldn't be a good idea. I know exactly what you would do. You would get an arm lopped off and maybe a leg or two. And then you'd have to drag your way back with your singular leftover arm.
Maybe, but I also just don't want to leave you alone. Here, come... Do you think you can help me investigate this scene a little bit before we give these horses their service?
Fine.
Thank you.
And Lanner's gonna close her book and set it to the side, like, and she's gonna get up and go look around the site herself.
You set aside the book, despite the fact that you were just getting to a really good passage about bodice ripping and heaving bosoms. Yet, as you press your way forth, go ahead and make me your choice of a perception or an investigation check as you survey the scene in front of you.
Ooh.
With a 22, you notice a couple of things. First off, the scroll case in De Torm's hand is familiar to you. The freshly waxed leather, the small bronze catch on the top. It looks virtually identical to one that was hanging at Gundren Rockseeker's belt when you last saw him in Neverwinter 3 days ago.
This looks exactly like Gundren's scroll case.
Wait, what? I look back down it. I look back at the horse, hoping there's a second glance help jog my memory.
The horses are unfamiliar to you, though you did not see Gundren and Sildar set off together. You simply remember Gundren's statement. We're going to rent a couple of horses tomorrow, head down to Phandelver. Got some business to take care of before the cargo arrives, you understand?
Hmm.
Um,
I'm gonna relay that particular memory to Lanner, and I'm going.
he's gotten himself into trouble, hasn't he?
Shit. Oh, I'm gonna. I look around for. I'm gonna. Is the only blood on the scene belonging to the horses? Can I tell that?
Make a survival or medicine check.
What do you want, Dan?
I'm probably better off at survival. Oh well.
With an 8, it's a little bit difficult for you to discern how much of this blood may belong to the horses and how much may belong to another source. You can see that it's quite a scene of carnage. Creatures this large bleed a lot. Though you would guess that if looting was the intention of whoever these ambushers were, they wouldn't have much need to take the bodies of Sildar and Guntran. Especially not if they were willing to shoot their horses, valuable animals, out from under them.
Well,
the question is, why do they want? So it seems like they want our boss and our coworker. I think they got kidnapped. The question is, why?
well, asking why isn't going to help us help them, now is it?
It's not. Molly, I'm so sorry to do this to you, girl. We gotta go. I'm gonna try see if there's like a way I can hide Molly behind some trees. See if I can like pull our carriage to the side and like out of sight, maybe behind some brush or some trees.
Yeah, absolutely. As you begin to lead Molly a few feet off-road, what's your passive perception? Same question for Lanner.
My passive perception is... Whose character sheet is this? Is mine or yours?
You're 13.
I'm 13.
I'm 10.
13, very nice. Give me just a moment here. Very good. With a 13, as you begin to lead Molly a little ways off-road here, you hear a rustling in the undergrowth. You turn toward it just in time to see a pair of pointed ears, the knotted face twisted in a grotesque expression of malice, and the black flighted arrow pointed toward you, the short bow's string straining back in the hand of the small goblin. The moment that it realizes it's made, it immediately lets out a cry of alarm, and the forest bursts to life around you here. I'm going to go ahead and change our map here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Let's see. Lanner. Just double checking. You guys can see that, right?
We're adjusting our character sheets real quick.
Hold on. I see the Roll20's loading.
There's blackness and darkness.
There's a black box.
That's strange. Let me turn the dynamic lighting off, see if that fixes it.
Oh,
There we go.
I see things.
Fantastic.
Oh, no worries.
So, Torm, you've begun to make your way over to the south here. Lanner, you're welcome to position yourself wherever you think you would be in this scene.
I'll be honest with you. I don't see either of our tokens.
You don't? Ah, that would be because they are on the GM layer. There we go.
We got a red warning saying your connection to the server has been interrupted.
Oh,
Anything you do right now will have to send when you go back online. Can you refresh the page?
Servers. Can I refresh the page?
Kayla.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm refreshing.
Establishing server uplink.
Wow, let's see if it functions.
Technology.
I love technology. It's so good. It's so great to our modern everyday lives. And it totally functions exactly as we intend it at all times, no questions asked.
No questions asked. Speaking of, I'm gonna ask a question though. Is it fixed? Because we see the horses.
We see the horses, but not our tokens. So,
Yeah.
You still don't see your tokens.
nope,
Either
Nope.
this one right here, nor this one right here.
Right? Not.
It's
no.
very strange. That's very strange.
Oh,
Go ahead and
oh.
pull them out. Whoop.
Oh, we saw something real for a
Oh,
minute.
they showed up for a moment.
As soon as I deleted them. Go ahead and pull them out yourselves from the party journal if you would. See if that fixes
I
that.
sure will. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah. Oop, there we go.
And Lanner, you're welcome to position yourself wherever you'd like to be.
I imagine we weren't too terribly far from each other. They're probably like,
You came with me to put Molly away.
There's Molly.
oh,
Ma.
oh, okay. For a moment, I thought that was it looked like a vampire. It looked like Dracula. For a moment. And I was like, oh god, Dracula's huge.
She's come to drink your milk.
Is Molly's cart? Is Molly's cart there with Molly in that same space?
Indeed, she's attached to it.
Okay, cool.
Very good. So, Torm, you've seen this goblin. It's let out this tremendous cry, alerting Lanner as well. You have just a moment to react. What do you do?
I'm going to pull out my I'm going to pull out a javelin in my offhand. I'm going to have it ready to be thrown. Now, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If I try and talk to this goblin, will that take up my action?
It will certainly take up time. We're not in combat yet, so there's no action economy to speak of here.
Okay, I'm pulling out my javelin. I'm going to look him dead in the eyes, and I'm going to plead with him, don't make me do this. Let's talk.
The goblin looks back at you and just says, Braka! Braka! As whing, you hear the arrow released from the bow, whizzing toward you. Either not very conversational or just doesn't speak common. Go ahead and roll for initiative. As you see several other small forms beginning to emerge from the undergrowth here, similarly armed.
The first one was Torm, and the second one was me.
Okay, good
Was
to know.
Lane.
I am rolling low today. Oh boy. Let's hope that
That's
doesn't
fine.
translate into combat.
Nah, get them all out at the start of the session. That's always the best advice.
There.
So, Lanner, very fortunately, with this purview you have, capable of seeing everything around you, 4 goblins, at least those the ones that are visible, quivers of black flighted arrows dangling at their belts, scimitars and wicker shields being borne toward you. Molly immediately begins to step about in nervousness, the contents of the cart creaking behind her. What would you like to do?
The first thing I would like to do is, which one is the one that is shooting in our general direction?
You can see that the 2 here, to the south, are both bearing short bows. The 2 from the north are charging forth with wicker shields and chipped scimitars.
Okay. Frick. How much do you remember or know how much weight catapult can do?
Let me look that up for you. That is 1 to 5 pounds.
Okay. I was gonna try and fling a horse. I mean,
Maybe at higher levels, darling. Maybe at higher levels.
we
You
live
could
and we
fling-
learn.
You could fling the saddle or the bridle. Maybe if you get lucky with the spellcasting modifier check, you might be able to de-hoof one of these things and fling that in the
Oh.
direction of the goblin.
Ah.
Um, so I think, man, I really wanted to fling that horse. Okay, since I can't fling the horse, I think what I'll do is, find on here.
I'll tell you what,
Oh, you
Lanner.
know,
These horses
I
have been.
just,
These horses look like they've been sitting in the sun for some time and have been preyed upon at least a little bit by passing scavengers. You can see on the nearest horse where the flesh has fallen away and the ivory skull is visible beneath. Maybe you could fling that.
Oh.
you know what? Yeah, sure. Let's fling a, let's, I'm catapulting, that horse's skull, directly at, I don't know if you can see this line or not, that guy.
I sure can hear that. As there is a horrible sound of twisting tendon and snapping bone, the skull hovering into the air before you for a moment. Has what does your spell look like?
Um, oh gosh, I never really considered it for catapult. For catapult, I think it's going to kind of look weird, almost like it's just the skull is flying up into the air and almost in the same area it would be if the horse was standing up. And then it's more or less going to charge its way into this goblin over this way, because I'm pretty sure catapult is 60 feet. Yeah. So that horse's skull is going to pick itself up as if it were still alive and run at this little goblin.
You hear a ghostly clip clop, and a vengeful whinny filling the air as the horse's skull is catapulted in the direction of the goblin here, provoking a dexterity save. What's your spell save DC?
My spell save DC is, let me double check that. I want to say it's like 14. No, I just don't know where to put any of my stuff for spells.
It'll be on your
13.
13. Very good. So the goblin with a +2 on its dexterity score needs an 11 or higher to avoid the effects of this spell. With a natural 17, it immediately throws itself to the ground the moment that the horse begins to, the horse's skull begins to levitate, mistaking you not for an alchemist but for a necromancer here for a moment. As it into the brush behind it, it gets back up with the "what the fuck," and immediately begins to redirect its bow toward you. That's your action. Anything else?
After all.
It does speak English. I don't know what I have that can be double. So I just already moved. I think that was 10 feet. I legitimately can't tell. I think 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and I would like to offhand stab him with my dagger.
Unfortunately, to make an offhand attack, you do need to take the attack action on your turn.
Oh, so it's not a bonus action to...
Nah, it's a bonus action if you took the attack action.
I'm learning things. I didn't know that. Okay.
Well, I guess
I'm in this guy's face.
Oh, God.
With a bottle in one hand and a dagger in the other. So.
Sounds like the beginning of every good bar fight. Anything else on your turn, Lanner?
How dare you dodge that? That's it. That's my turn.
Very good. As you put on your best big sister voice here, the goblin immediately begins to stutter in whatever language it's speaking. As you can see, the two to the north, the goblin here on 17 to the north, lets out a battle cry that resonates quite loudly through the forest for a creature with its small frame as it begins to make its way in your direction, moving up 10 feet, climbing down the 10-foot embankment as well, bringing it to a total of 30 feet of movement without a climb speed. It then takes the dash action as it begins to rush up toward Molly here, beginning to rifle through the cart. It's going to be the goblin's turn. A goblin on 12 here, wielding its short bow, is immediately going to drop it on the ground beside it, whipping out one of those chipped-bladed scimitars and taking a defensive slash toward you, Lanner. With a natural 1, it is so overcome by your big sister voice here that it just freezes up and begins to stutter apologies in Goblish, and that's going to bring us to Daitorm.
Okay, so question: these guys here to the south, would they be considered? Are they in any kind of cover from my perspective?
These ones to the south here?
Yes.
No. They've moved to the edge of the tree line here, and the undergrowth is not so high that it provides cover even for small creatures like them.
Okay. Well,
You don't want to.
I'm on it. I promise. So, it's dawned on me what time it is, and it makes me a very sad boy. So much so that tears are going to start welling in my eyes as I go into my barbaric rage, which is more like a barbaric cry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, thank you. I'm going to take that javelin I drew, earlier. I'm going to lob it at this guy. I don't know how to D20.
Right click ping.
Right click ping. So I right. Oh dear.
You had it. It literally was right there. He wants to attack this one.
Yes, I throw my javelin at him.
By all means.
James, what you do is that you go click javelin.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, with a natural 2 for a 7, the javelin sails cleanly over the goblin's greasy top knot and its pointed ears, burying itself into a young oak sapling behind it.
Well, I don't have time to regret my flub because Molly's in danger. I gotta help Molly. I gotta help everyone, but man, it's not working out. So that's 5, 10, 15. Yeah. So I'm gonna come next to this goblin, axe in hand, and as I'm coming up to him, I'm gonna give him the same ultimatum. Hey, don't make me do this.
The goblin looks up at you with a sack full of flour in either hand and goes, "Rah!" Anything else on your turn?
Nope. That's all I can do. I made my one attack and I made my movement.
Oh, level 1.
Oh, level 1.
That's going to bring us to our goblin on 7 here, who apparently possesses at least a little bit of common, as it looks back to you and says, "Why you cry? I not even shoot you yet!" As he then fletches back the short bow and attempts to take the shot. It's going to be a 16 to hit.
That's a hit.
Very good.
On Torm or me?
On Torm. That is going to be 8 points of piercing damage reduced to 4 thanks to the effects of your rage.
Yeah. And I get to keep my rage. Thanks for the arrow, idiot. I don't say that out loud. That's very out of character.
Very good. Our goblin on 7 here is going to come rushing up, attempting to find a path to get to you, 30 feet being just enough for him to do so, as he makes a wild slash with the scimitar, a 10 missing as you sidestep. And that brings us back to Lanner.
I'm gonna do what I do best, and I am. Ooh, excuse me while I just can't click things, but it's fine. This is fine. Because what I'm going to do is that lovely vial I have in my hand, I'm going to splash it in their face.
Ooh, very nice. Now, Tasha's Caustic Brew here, I believe, is a 30-foot line spell, right?
Yes.
Now, if you wanted, you could reposition over here or over here
Yeah.
and catch both of those enemies with it.
I would like to do that, yes.
You got it. As you take a quick side step from the scimitar wielding goblin here, what's your spell look like as you release it?
Um, Basically, I take the bottle that's in my hand, I shake it up and uncap it like a soda can, and it more or less sprays out at them as if as if you just shook a soda can incredibly vigorously, but obviously ridiculously far and long.
I can imagine you tossing the Mentos into the Diet Coke here as it erupts in a geyser of acid toward both of these small creatures. 2 dexterity saves. A 20 and an 11. Though the first goblin sees what you're doing just in time to throw himself to the side, his kinsman here gets it full in the face. You can see the slick acid immediately beginning to eat away at his tattered leather armor and his mottled green flesh. Anything else on your turn?
And it is the creature covered in acid takes 2d4 acid at the start of each of its turns.
Very good.
So I have to remember that.
I'll
And
go ahead and mark them for you.
I think that's what the 3 is.
awesome.
Unless you want to,
No,
do a different.
The 3 is
If you go up,
yeah. Sorry, I don't understand spells. We're working on it though. We're
fine.
getting there. And but yeah, he's gonna take damage every turn, every one of his turns now.
Good to know.
And
It-
I think that's all I can do.
All right. In that case, that's going to bring us to our goblin here, who is holding the sack of flour that he's just robbed from Molly's cart in one hand, his scimitar having been sheathed. He looks from the sack, looks back to Torm, and then swings it toward your head almost like a flail as an improvised weapon here.
mm-hmm.
That's going to be a 15 to hit.
That is a hit. That is exactly my armor class.
That's a fairly good roll here. That's going to be a d4 minus 1 for the damage. A total of 3, reduced to 1 damage here, thanks to your rage. However, as the sack bursts in front of your face here, go ahead and make me a Constitution save.
Can do. In a minute.
And then you would like con save.
Oh.
You got this. You can do it.
All right, come on, big money. There we go.
Look at that.
With the 21, you've had poison, blood, and all other unmentionable things in your eyes before. At least a few of them the product of Lanner's experimentations upon you, Torm. A little flour is nothing to worry about, and you avoid the effects of the temporary blindness. The goblin in front of you uses his object interaction to draw his scimitar once again and tries to sort of flourish it before you, before dropping it and picking it back up rather sheepishly.
Joke's on you. Joke's on you. I have accepted that I'm gonna die someday. You can't threaten me with like that.
Very good. He bares his sharp teeth. He's certainly going to try. Lanner, the goblin here that's just thrown himself away from the effects of your Tasha's Caustic Brew comes up swinging with an upward slash of the scimitar. A natural one, though, as it gets its blade tangled within the undergrowth here, taking a moment to pull it free before coming back to his feet. And that's going to bring us back to Torm.
All right. So just to clarify, the guy north of me has not actually attacked me yet. He just has his sword ready.
The one to the north has taken a scimitar strike toward you. I believe it missed, though.
That's right. He did miss me. Well,
He did 1 damage to you.
so since since this guy north missed, and the guy to the
miss.
no, okay, so this guy to the south shot me with his arrow.
Uh-huh.
This guy to the right of me hit me with flour.
Uh-huh.
This guy to me to the north missed.
No, the guy to the north hit you for 1 damage. I think. It doesn't matter. Continue.
Anyway, one of these guys missed me. One of these guys hit me. The guy who hit me is the bigger threat because he's proven he can hit me. So I'm taking my great axe and I'm going to try and just cleave him in two vertically right now.
Go ahead and roll a hit.
Yes, please.
With a 16, as the great axe raises above the goblin, larger than the creature is long, briefly blotting out the sun above it, it holds up its hands and says, "Wait, we talk! Before it slams
hold on.
his
If he
buff.
wants to talk, I want to stop. Hold on. If he wants to talk, I want to stop.
The attack is made, unfortunately. Go ahead and roll damage.
No. That just makes me cry even more. Jeez.
There's something deeply terrifying about a 6-foot-something brawny dude that is crying while raging.
Do we need to roll the damage? Or
Yes, we do. Dead? There's a chance he can live. He has a 1 in 12 chance of living. I think. I mean, that's a dungeon master.
That is exactly correct. He has a 1 in 12 chance of surviving this. Minimum damage, I think, is the only thing that'll do it. With the 2, however, that is precisely... that's actually 9 damage if we add the bonus from your rage. It's more than enough.
I don't think this.
The goblin's words die on its lips as the great axe cleaves through the brain pan, and he falls instantaneously before you here. Covered in flour.
In the 4 seconds it took to do that, I'm going to use another second to look at this guy to the north, and in the last second, I'm going to please don't make me do this.
Make an intimidation check.
Here, I'm clicking it for him.
With a natural 20 here for a 19, the goblin looks back at you and says, Okay, don't do this! And immediately begins to turn back into the woods to the north here.
Well, I mean, I didn't say you could leave.
Opportunity attack.
Can I use if I get an opportunity attack, can I use it to grapple him?
Well, unfortunately, you can't make a grapple as an op attack, but we'll see what the creature does on its turn.
Well, fair enough. Well, since I used my action to attack, I can't disengage, so I'm here. I'm
Very
here
good.
begging for this goblin to not do this.
Very good. That's going to bring us to our acid-covered goblin on 7, taking that 3 damage at the start of his turn as the smell of sizzling flesh fills the air. Lanner, you're not sure if this prototype healing potion is quite working up to its intended specifications, but it certainly appears to have other uses. He's going to use an action to wash the acid off of himself as he scoops his slender-fingered hand into a puddle of mud, there we go, nearby, and immediately begins to use it to slick the acid off of himself here. That's going to be his entire action, other than moving over here further into the undergrowth and using a bonus action to attempt to hide. With a 22 stealth, that beats both of your passive perceptions, and the creature all but vanishes into the woods for a moment.
Damn.
Our goblin here on 7 is true to his word, and using a bonus action to disengage, immediately goes sprinting off into the woods to the north.
Well, off he goes. Oh, yeah, I don't think I can catch him.
Yeah, bonus action disengage and then action dash. These are nimble little creatures. But that is going to bring us back to Lanner.
I'm going to point at the one in front of me with my knife and ask if he still wants a piece.
Make an intimidation check. With a 15, let me see here. He needs to fail this wisdom save by 5 or more. With a 4,
that'll do.
He certainly does not, as he looks toward you and says, No, you, not horses. Made mistake. 2 legs, not 4. As he immediately drops his weapon.
I guess I'm going to I would like to use my action to grab him by his arm. You know, kind of like what moms do when like their kids are acting up.
Make an
And
athletics check in that case.
yeah, -1. Let's go.
Let's see here. 16's not a bad roll. And it certainly beats a 9 as you grab him by the arm, your claws digging into his scrawny bicep. What next?
Two twigs wrestling.
I'm going to tell him, or I'm going to say, you better tell me what the heck is going on right now, or so help me.
We'll see how he acts on his turn. Anything else, Lanner?
And while I'm saying that, I'm going to be pointing in the direction of the horses.
You got it.
That's it.
He's gonna start babbling back to you in broken common. No, me idea. Boss said to bring dwarf. We brought dwarf.
All right. And where is boss?
He's first. Before answering that, you see a flicker of fear pass over his face, as though he knows he's already said too much. He's going to try to break your grapple here. It's going to be a 7. You need to roll an 8 or higher.
Let's go, -1.
You got like a.
Wait, is it a strength check?
It's an athletics check, right?
What?
Or no, I'm sorry. I should stop. I should stop assuming things. Ben, is that right?
Yeah, no, that's correct, and you're fine. You're welcome to help out however you can. Very good. With a 16, your grip only tightens at the prospect of some juicy information. As he ceases struggling here, his ears begin to droop with a look of a fateful resignation upon his face, and that's going to bring us to Dietorm.
Okay, well, this fucker up north is basically gone. And more importantly, Lanner is, as far as I know, Lanner is like stuck dealing with 2 goblins by herself. And even though I'm getting my ass kicked over here, she's in theory not as good at fighting as me. In theory, so I'm gonna use my offhand to draw another javelin as I make my way 5, 10, 15.
By this point, he should be able to see.
At this point, I should be able to see that, she's got this whole thing going on. She's got this covered. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see if I can find that other goblin, because, he's gone, and that's concerning.
Yeah, if you'd like to use your action to make a perception check, you're welcome to. You are looking for a DC 22 based on the goblin stealth, though.
I don't think I can make a 22 roll, but I can try.
All right, and you said it was perception?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 19 or higher. Nope.
With a 10, as you scan the thick forests just beyond the tree line here, you see neither hide nor hair of your attacker.
Well, I guess since that's my turn, my tears will die down a little bit as my rage has to end.
Very good. As your rage ends, just as you think yourself out of danger, there is a rustling from the tree line to the north here, as the goblin, so recently acid splashed, furious with pain, fletches an arrow in your direction with advantage from stealth.
So, before he does that, just to double check, does he take more acid damage, or is he broken?
No, he rubbed it off with mud.
Okay.
Using an action, yeah, on his last turn.
Okay, cool.
That's going to be a 12, as the arrow flies over your head here. The goblin lets out a small...
I like to think that that's less than 13, which is 10 plus my constitution. I like to think it might have just, grazed my shoulder, but because I'm just so well built, it kind of, slides off instead of, hitting me directly, if that makes sense. Is that okay?
Totally. Flavor is always free.
Yeah, I want to try and flavor my unarmored defense as being I'm just built different.
The arrow hit, but it deflected off of his shiny muscular titty.
It only it hit my shoulder. But it was more like a very shallow cut than anything. Like, what? Ow. But not like, ow, you know?
Just writing some session notes here real quick. Shining, muscular, titty. Okay, we're good.
Alright.
So, as that happens, as he looks at you and swallows audibly, he's going to make another stealth check as a bonus action here. A 24. This time, the panic beginning to well up in him, he throws himself back into the undergrowth, barely making a sound, disappearing from view once again. Our goblin here on 7, the one that has fled, does not make a reappearance, at least not yet. And that'll bring us to Lanner.
All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm not letting go of him still. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach into my pocket and hand him a cookie and tell him he's not in trouble. He just needs to tell me everything that's happening so that I can do my job.
Just out of curiosity, how old are these cookies? And did you bake them yourself? Chocolate chip? Oatmeal raisin?
Chocolate chip. Oh, chocolate chip for sure.
Did you bake these like just before we left?
Yeah.
They're a little
cookies.
bit soaked from rain.
You can't have- You're a dog!
It doesn't matter.
It matters a lot!
Go ahead and make a
Oh,
persuasion
no.
check, Lanner.
Well, persuasion. What button is that? It's that one.
With a 3, as you begin to hand the cookie toward the goblin, you did not know that, in fact, goblins react similarly to golden retrievers when exposed to chocolate. And the moment that the savory scent hits his nose, he immediately begins to retch and howl about poison! Poison!
Oh, I did not realize. Okay, then. Anyway, you're not in trouble. You just need to tell me what's going on and where the dwarf is.
Unfortunately, with a 3, the goblin just continues to struggle in your grip. What would you like to do?
I guess I would like to attempt to drag him, like, this way. I don't know what half of 35 is.
15. Oh, half of 35? I guess that depends. Is it round up or down, Ben?
We always round down in D&D. So
Then yeah,
15
15
feet.
Oh.
Which I think is just 1 square less than you moved. As you begin to haul him to the north here, Lanner. Anything else on your turn? You do still
Nope,
have
that's
an
it.
action.
Oh, I do. I guess.
You could dash and drag him another 15.
Yeah, that's
No, don't do that. No.
I'm
I mean, do it if you want to.
I'm taking the dash action to move him further up. I don't know.
Very good.
I'm on the
As you move him
struggle
up
bus.
another 15 or so here, as he comes into Molly's range, immediately, with her nonplussed expression, she begins to open her mouth and chew gently on the goblin's ear.
No. Molly, stop. No. You don't know where that's been, first of all. Second of all, it's rude.
So, Lanner, anything else on your turn?
Nope, that's it. He's
All right.
still complaining in my grip. He's going to come over here and he's gonna help us.
Our goblin on 12 here, the one that's currently in your grasp, is going to make another valiant attempt to escape your clutches. A 15 this time. You need a 16 or better.
Come on, -1.
Third time's the charm. Damn.
With a 13, unfortunately, he manages to writhe his tiny limb out of your grip here and immediately takes a look toward your hands. Remind me, what kind of weapon were you holding?
I had a dagger.
He takes a look at the dagger and decides he's going to risk it, as he is going to use an action to dash here, rushing away from you, provoking the attack of opportunity.
Question. Am I within 5 feet of this goblin?
Yes.
No.
No.
Unfortunately, you were 10 feet away from him.
Alas.
This map is a little hard to see the distance.
You can always use the measurement tool if you're having trouble.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I love it. Now that I know how to use it, good stuff. Um, I'm not going to kill him.
You don't.
He.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna do much damage anyway. F it, let's go.
A 7 does nothing more than chop off his greasy black top knot, which goes thudding to the sands in front of you as he continues to rush away toward the woods. As he reaches the tree line, he is going to use a bonus action to attempt to hide.
I'll be real with you. I thought that 7 was damage, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna kill him.
Murder.
So a 14 on passive perception. Do either of you have 14 or better?
I only have 13.
Yeah, 13 is the highest between the two of us. I'm
Very
at
good.
10.
With the 13, the goblin disappears from view for a moment, but you can continue to hear the sounds of rustling in the undergrowth. Gone, but apparently not forgotten. Torm, you have heard the sounds of arrows continuing to be fletched within the woods nearby, yet you cannot see any of your opponents. What would you like to do?
So I still have my javelin head, and I already know these guys are. I already can tell I'm not real. Like when they try to hide, I can't see them. So I'm gonna look back at Lanner, and I'm gonna sort of. I'm gonna sort of order her, like hide behind the cart, and then I'm gonna raise my javelin. I'm gonna stand between Molly and like where I remember that goblin being.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ready an action where
You know with how often they've been missing you? That arrow is probably going to hit Molly at this rate.
I have to make sure Molly's okay. I have to make sure Molly's okay. I'm going to use my action to ready an attack action if the goblin shows up again.
Absolutely.
So like basically, I'm going to freaking try and fast draw this guy.
Yeah, very nice. So, moving yourself up a little ways here to stand between the foe's last seen location and Molly?
Yep.
You got it. In that case, let's see. Our goblin here on 7, lurking within the undergrowth here, creeps a little ways to the north, seeing the javelin in your hand before making its attack. As it springs from the undergrowth, you can see the glint of the obsidian arrowhead in front of you, yet you act first. Now the goblin here has pulled himself to 35 feet outside your javelin's normal range. If you'd like to take that readied action, go ahead and do so with disadvantage.
I shall do so.
A 17 or... A 17 indeed. The javelin sailing through the midday sun here, slamming into the chest of your foe. Go ahead and roll damage.
This cannot... it might kill, but it didn't.
Very nice. Now this is the damaged one, the one already eaten with acid. As the javelin slams into its chest, it sputters upon its own blood, falling backward and tumbling into the dust of the road. Another one gone. Anything else?
You missed a chance at another one bites the dust.
It seemed cheesy after already saying dust in the same sentence, but I definitely did consider it.
I take no joy in what I've just done for multiple reasons.
Very fair. That'll bring us to Lanner.
I'm going to cross my arms in frustration and sigh because 2 of the goblins escaped, one of which I had a hold of and was getting information out of. And things just didn't work out the way I had hoped. And so now I need to figure out if I can find the direction that the goblins generally came from. Obviously, they surrounded us, but surely they must have come from somewhere, and I would like to see if I can figure that out.
Yeah, by all means. As you begin to comb the area here, go ahead and make me a survival check.
Perfect.
With the 5, from your position, as you begin to scan the road, you see nothing but forest in either directions. At first inspection, nothing that would indicate any clear direction that these creatures might have come from.
I'm gonna sigh in frustration, and I'm sure the survival check used my action, but I want to try and next thing I'm planning to do is see if I can find and follow the goblins.
You got it. Anything else on your turn?
That's it.
Very good. Our goblin here on 12, still a little bit red-cheeked from his encounter with Lanner here, is vengeful for the attempt at poisoning. Creeping through the underbrush back to where it left its bow, it picks it up and stealthily knocks another arrow as it fires in her direction.
No.
That's an 18 to hit, Lanner.
No.
Oh,
That hits by
does he get advantage?
what does.
He does, thanks to his stealth check.
If I have anything I can do to, I don't
That's
think I have anything.
18 points for 8 points of damage, Lanner. The arrow
Ow.
not burying itself, but slicing along the neck, the thick, broad head drawing blood. Immediately you worry that he may have nicked an artery. He lets out a small call of surprise, and in his own skill here, and immediately begins to hasten into the woods to the south, using a bonus action to hide once again. With a 10, this time, though, you can hear him mothering to himself in Victoria's statements as he pulls himself off to the south.
Do I also see him because mine is 10 and his is 13?
Oh, yeah, you would both see him.
Oh,
Oh,
bastard.
oh, fuck.
That'll bring us to D.A. Torm.
So this guy's still in full view, right?
He is, yes. This far back, past the wood line, though, he does have about half cover, as you can sight him through the trees.
So I don't want to leave the scene because A, Lanner's hurt to shit. B, Molly's sitting here, being Molly. I don't want Molly to get hurt either. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ready another. I'm gonna do what I did before. I'm gonna ready a javelin, so that if he tries to fire on us, I'll throw it at him.
Mm-hmm.
However, what I'm basically doing is I'm giving him another chance to leave. Because I don't think I don't think we're in a good spot to really pursue. As much as I would love to take one prisoner for interrogation and maybe also to convince him to stop killing people, that'd be great. I don't think I'm strong enough to do that right now, though.
Go ahead and take a movement.
All right, mouse, please. Thank you. Yeah. 5, 10,
You can go
10, 15.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, you okay?" Obviously not. You're okay. I'll take care. I'll help you in a minute. 20, 25, 30.
You can also be right there and maybe 30.
Yeah.
You gotta click here.
All right. And then
Click here.
oh.
Okay. Then I already did it for you. It's fine.
Okay. Cool. So let me see. What's the range? What's the range? This is like 35 feet. This is a long ass range. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna ready another javelin strike to throw if he decides to shoot another arrow. But I'm assuming I'm too far away to really communicate. So I'm gonna try and communicate through my body language, like, "Hey, I will throw this at you." And it's not an empty threat, because considering what's already happened.
Sure, make an intimidation check.
Wow, I'm gonna click. Would you rather click the button yourself?
Oh, you can do it. It's fine.
With a 13, similar rule as last time. He needs to fail this check by 5 or more. With an 18,
He sure doesn't.
he shouts back to you. He can smell the humanoid blood in front of him. He can see the goods that Molly is laden with, and also the disrespectful way that she chews upon the jerkin sleeve of his fallen brother here.
Oh no, Molly, stop!
He lets out a small war cry as he begins to knock another arrow. You've got your action ready?
I have my action ready. Go ahead.
No action for me?
We haven't quite gotten to your turn yet. I was just making sure that
Okay.
Torm was done with his.
Yeah, my official action. I should probably rage again because I don't want to die. What's my HP at again? Am I at like 10?
Yes.
I could put things.
I might be metagaming a little bit, but I think I'll be fine if I don't rage. So I'm not gonna rage. I'm just gonna ready my javelin.
You got it.
All right.
Now, what trigger are you looking for here? If he attacks again?
If he attacks, if he attacks any of us, me, Lanner, or Molly, I'm gonna chuck my javelin at him again.
You got it. Now, you can clearly see, given that he's failed his stealth check here, he is definitely about to string another arrow onto that bow. Do you want to make the attack now?
Yep.
Roll the hit. Once again, at disadvantage thanks to the range.
And then, like, does half cover also give him bonus AC or anything?
+2, yes.
Oh well, doesn't matter. Oh no, that's the first one. Roll again.
Mm-hmm. It, in fact, does
don't know if
not
that
matter
matters.
here. The javelin sailing through the forest in front of it, clipping a tiny branch from a new sapling as it moves, barely taken off flight path, but slamming into the goblin's shoulder here.
Oh, poor sapling. All the collateral damage.
With 6 points of piercing damage, you see him spin around, falling to the ground with the momentum of the throw, as he barely picks himself up, a single hit point remaining.
I think it would be really funny if he spun and then fell, landed in like the Family Guy, the one.
I'm going to speak out of character for a second. I should have raged because then he would have literally done that.
Unfortunately, rage
If I had
damage isn't
raged, he
added to
literally
thrown
would have
weapons.
done that. But, it's neither here nor there.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Ben?
I was just saying that rage damage isn't actually added to thrown weapons, so I think your decision
Oh,
was
I thought
right
it was-
here.
Okay, I thought it was just like strength attacks. Fair enough.
Live and learn,
So-
right?
Live and learn.
Lanner, that'll bring us to you. Heavily wounded, your foe in a similar state.
Can I see that he's heavily wounded? Probably not through all this junk.
Let's see. Considering that you're looking up a 10-foot ledge there, probably not, in fact.
If anything, what I would do here in this situation is probably go up and then back to behind the carriage, and then see if I can find any like healing potions or something on either the dead goblin or in the carriage.
Yeah, go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Heck yeah, I can investigate.
With a 14, as you search through the goblin's belongings, you find a small purse containing a few silver and copper pieces, its quiver of poorly flighted arrows, its chipped scimitar, though nothing that looks like it would be a healing potion, until you find a small paper satchel, or not paper satchel, a small leather satchel in one of his pockets. As you open it up, you see that there are just a number of insects, beetles, earthworms, and the like.
That
Probably
could be
trail
useful.
rations.
Too. Could be useful though.
Delicious, delicious bugs.
Well, not for eating. You can actually crush that stuff into various reagents. So
For potions
potions,
that you consume.
cosmetics, so on and so forth.
I'm just saying, if you put in the potion, you're still eating the bugs. So,
As far as the wagon itself, you've taken careful inventory of its possessions prior even to leaving Neverwinter. About a dozen sacks of flour, a few casks of salted pork, kegs of ale, shovels, picks, crowbars, about a dozen each, lanterns, a small barrel of oil, sundry goods, but nothing that would help cure wounds here.
Wow, big suck. I'm going to take the goblin's belongings and see what I can do about wrapping up this arrow wound.
Very good.
Oh no.
Don't
Oh
worry.
no, what's this for?
Don't worry. You find 5 silver pieces, 5 copper within the goblin's purse, king's ransom for his kind. Yet, when you begin to tend to your wounds, Molly gives you a good-naturedly concerned nuzzle, still chewing on the jerkin of the goblin.
oh, Molly, why do you have to do that? We could have de-escalated things. Oh, jeez.
Molly is a very good ox.
Our goblin here on 12 looks toward the brawny Asamar in front of him, tear stains still streaking your face as you're fishing for another javelin. He considers his odds for a moment and immediately begins to beat a hasty retreat into the woods to the east here, taking a dash action, immediately moving 60 feet as he does so, putting a great deal of distance between you and him. Torm, Lanner, as you hear the sounds of him running off into the undergrowth here, do you intend to give chase?
I want to, but also we are dying.
Only chase in the sense that we're not going after him to fight him. He's probably going back to his boss or to his little hideout, which is where What's-His-Face is. So it would be prudent to follow them. Not necessarily close behind, but enough that we could follow along.
In that case, it sounds like we're out of initiative for the moment. As the sounds of cracking bows and clashing scimitars fade away, your own heavy breathing and the steady drip, drip of Lanner's blood, the only thing audible here. The horses, one of them now skullless, remain unmoving before you. A couple of gobblish corpses upon the road and within the woods nearby. As you take a moment to recollect yourself, Molly letting out a small as if to say, "Are you done now?" Let's go ahead and take our 15 here, shall we?
Yeah.
That was nice. Okay.
I'm just going to grab some water, and I'll be right back to answer the questions for you guys.
All good.
Sounds good. And that means, Jarrett, you can unmute now and discuss if you'd like.
Or ask questions if you want.
Yeah.
I do have one question.
Go.
Is this the first session of the campaign?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yep. We are fresh, baby new to this campaign.
Yeah, just started.
Is that warm milk or no?
It's not warm, but it's not.
I'm asking, did you heat it up?
No.
That's what I meant.
Just regular milk.
Excuse me. I've been drinking beverages myself. Water and and Coke Zero Cherry.
How are you enjoying that Coke Zero Cherry?
It tastes good.
Good. Do you want me to bring some more drinking beer for you?
I'm fine for right now.
I guess I'll have Torm discuss what he thinks we should do when we're done with the break. But yeah, I like how you had a very strong start.
And then fell apart right at the end.
Something like that. Dude got, mad damage. I think he might have rolled max damage, even.
It's not fair.
Well, it's fair in love and war.
It's not love or war. He came to rob us.
we fought him. It was a war. It was a tiny, small scale war.
Not.
Oh, I guess I do have one more question. On the website, is the flashing normal, or do you guys not see that?
I'm not seeing flashing now.
Flashing?
Let me look at the stream and see what's up. If I see it on my end too.
Because for me on the stream, it's like you see the map, but it's also like flashing green.
That's definitely.
Well, that's not normal.
Oh,
What
I'm
browser are
so
you using?
sorry.
We're streaming with Discord.
Yeah, that's how very odd.
Well, it seems to be stopped. Oh, nope, there it goes.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
I guess it's just a Discord problem.
Let me see.
I think it's a streaming problem, not necessarily. Well, it might be a Discord problem because people stream on Roll20 and like it's fine on like Twitch.
Discord doesn't like my computer, so that might be the issue.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Whenever James gets his computer back, we'll probably stream it through his computer instead.
God,
Yeah,
it's
do some
like,
troubleshooting.
it's like beige epilepsy.
Yeah, I know, and I hate it.
Sorry about that, Derek.
Yeah, I'm also crocheting, so I'm not necessarily like, staring at the screen the entire time.
Okay, good.
That's good.
What-
That's good.
What are you crocheting?
I'm making what's the word? Armrest covers.
Oh,
Because it's like, at least for my dad's recliner, it's like solid wood. So I'm just trying to make something a bit softer to put his arms on.
You should send pictures when you're done.
yes.
I definitely will. It's not really fancy. It's just something.
I just like seeing your work.
Yeah.
Not to advertise, but I'm advertising them anyway. Jarrett happens to make stuff in general, crochet, and they have a shop on Etsy. And you can buy stuff from them. They're very talented.
I definitely do appreciate the advertisement.
Wait, did you say your Etsy shop?
Yeah, Jarrett has an Etsy shop.
Yeah, link me. Let me see this.
Okay.
I can do it.
Okay.
Don't worry too much. Healthy.
Oh my god, that little gecko is so cute.
Yes.
Oh my,
buddy,
these
buddy.
are all so cute. Oh my god, they're lovely.
Thank you.
The little snack is my favorite.
hmm
And I can promise quality. I've seen them in person, and I've personally held them several times.
Mhm.
And some of them are huge.
Oh yeah, they're not up right now, but I used to make like gigantic snakes and like geckos.
Like full body length huggable geckos.
No, but like like
Ortho
2
length.
feet, I think. Let me actually measure one. It's been a while since I sold them.
You still have one?
Yeah, there's a bunch that I made that just never sold.
Not that I know much about crochet, but how long would it take to make like a full body length huggable gecko?
They might have walked away.
Yeah, I think they're retrieving the baby.
So they'll be back in a sec.
My poor unrequited gecko love.
I can't speak for how long they take. I think usually Jarrett's things like a day or two on like the smaller ones. I imagine it would take like probably 2 weeks for the bigger ones, but I can't say for certain.
Well, it's also a matter of like finding a way to keep them structurally stable while you're creating them, I assume.
Well, yeah, Jarrett usually stuffs them. I don't know exactly how. But I know that's how it's done.
Yeah, I have three because they're all different. They're all kind of different sizes.
Uh, Ben wanted to know how long you think it would take to make a full body size.
Body size. Oh my god. I mean, it would take a really long time. I mean, I've never remade something that big. And it'd also be really expensive, to be honest. Especially if you're crocheting something that big. Uh, I'm not sure. At least a couple weeks, maybe a month. I'm not really sure.
That's time well spent in my book.
Maybe, but it's got to be worth it monetarily as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. My longest one of the geckos that I made, they're about like 19 inches, which is like
Almost 2 feet.
yeah,
Almost 2
almost
feet.
2 feet. So like they're huge in comparison to the ones I usually make, which are like 8 inches. And I'm using like this special blanket, like plush yarn.
They're very soft.
Yeah.
They're pretty fat too. I love them so much.
Yeah, I have pictures of them on my Tumblr. I have a shop Tumblr, but I haven't really updated that in a long time. Whoops.
I've always found the hardest part of running a business is not actually doing the work, it's doing all of the peripheral stuff around it, like advertisement, etc.
Literally, yeah, like I like making things, but actually advertising, I just don't know how to do it.
I guess that's why companies tend to have like whole ass marketing departments that like have triple the budget of every other department combined.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Like literally, I've considered maybe like hiring someone to do this for me or like to help me with it, but again, what money?
Yeah.
Pardon?
I mean, I've thought about like hiring someone to help me with advertising, but in order to do that, you kind of need money to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
If there's no room in the budget for advertising, you simply cannot advertise. It is cruel.
Oh, where should I put like the link to the Tumblr?
You can send it to Ben directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least there you can kind of see like the other stuff that I made, not everything that's not like currently up right now.
I hope your business blows up, because there's something really cool about being able to tell people that you got the crocheted gecko money.
Yeah.
So I try and advertise shirt stuff whenever I can, but advertising's hard. No, don't yawn. You make me yawn.
I can't help it.
No,
I'm a little eepy.
no. So
See how much time we got left on our break? Yeah, like 4 minutes. I'll be right
your
back.
mother.
Your mother.
And there's one real gecko at the bottom of the shop Tumblr. I love it.
Oh yeah. One of the things I did is that I also want to, again, along with trying to advertise, I think you need to kind of interact with the community. I would also reblog other people's like gecko, real life gecko pictures because I think they're really cute. They're really cool.
And here I thought you were about to tell me that you had crocheted life itself.
Oh no. I'm not that talented, but I try.
With these 2 hooks I shall challenge God himself.
I think you're that talented. Ugh. But I might be a little biased, so take that as you will.
A little bit. You know me for like 10 plus years.
I've known you for about 10 minutes, and I think they're real cute, so take that as you will.
Thank you.
What year was 7th grade even?
I don't even know. Was it 2007?
Jen says 2008.
It could be 2008.
So 15 years, I think.
Yeah, it's longer than I thought. Dang.
Oh, the passage of time.
Roll mistress.
You're passing on your sleepiness. How dare you?
I was going to say that was exhausting. We want to fight 3-on-4.
You know, things intended for more than 2.
Yeah.
At level 1, and we're doing fine.
I still can't believe I got 2 out of 2 long range hits. That's wild.
At disadvantage? That's what you were saving the good rolls for.
I guess so.
He can't track anything worth a darn, but boy howdy, can he throw a spear.
I can throw sticks real good.
Man, I tell you what.
I love Barbarian just as like the concept in adventure games.
What about adventure games? I'm sorry.
Just the Barbarian is like the very concept in adventure games. Like, I don't know how to light a fire. I don't know how to decipher any of these arcane runes. I don't even know what this treasure is worth. But I know I was put here on Earth for one purpose, and that is violence.
True, but I don't think any barbarian worth his salt is going to survive a King's Quest.
What is a King's Quest?
It is the adventure game from on Doc. Like it's the I think it's the founder of point and clicks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like that, or Zork, or like those old Sierra games were, as far as I know, pretty much the first point and clicks.
Yeah, I don't know Zork, but I know King's Quest, which is one of those Sierra DOS point and clicks.
Dude, I played I played King's Quest with my mom. She was always a gamer. Like when I was like fucking 4 or 5 years old. All I can remember is that we played the one where if you don't click on the mouse, like the little rat that appears for about 3 seconds on one of the first screens, then you get 90% of the way into the game, and there's just no way out of the dungeon that you get thrown into. You literally have to restart.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Good games, but they're brutal.
Yeah. They're like, oh man, how do we make this game playable for hours and hours on end? I know, we'll make it batshit crazy.
Unplayable.
By modern standards, absolutely.
Alrighty, we are just about reaching the end of our break here. I'm ready to go on whenever y'all are, but no rush.
I think I'm good to go.
You sound very sure of that.
I'm very confident, super confident.
He's yawning and it's making me yawn.
So if we can go back to the role plays.
Go back to your mother.
Very good. So,
I guess. I'm sorry, you first, Ben.
No, you're fine. There's the scene. Oh shit! There's the scene of carnage before you. There's the nonplussed old ox Molly and your cartload of laden goods. Certainly some valuable supplies in and of themselves, but you won't be paid for transporting them unless you can somehow reconvene with your employer, who, from all evidence here, appears to have been captured by goblins. A couple of these creatures rushing away into the woods, to the east, to the north, 2 of them lying dead at your feet. What now,
So
adventurers?
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my way towards Lantern. I'm going to raise my right hand. It's going to start to kind of glow a bit, as if it was like there was a very light lens flare around it. I'm going to press it against Lantern's arrow wound, and I'm going to use my I forget what the name of my healing ability.
Healing hands.
Thank you. I'm going to healing hand Lantern on the neck for I believe it's like 2 health or 1 health. Equal to my level. I'm going to heal Lantern for 1 HP to close that gaping neck wound because it's very concerning.
It's not a neck wound.
Was it not a neck wound? I thought.
It was.
I thought.
Yeah,
It
sure
was?
Yeah, I thought. I believe Ben specifically said like you were worried it hit your jugular or some such.
An artery.
An artery. That's what it was. Thank you. So I'm gonna heal the neck wound on Lantern. I'm gonna be like, hey.
That Spider-Man meme. Okay.
So, the wound here no longer gushing, but just dribbling a little bit underneath your ministrations. Yet, as you look from one to another, you're barely in any condition to travel, much less fight right now. Yet, each moment that you delay, you get the sense that your friend Gundren may be in danger. What would you like to do?
I know a long rest is 8 hours.
Yeah, we don't have time to long rest. I will say, Ben, based on our map and our, do we have an idea of how much longer it would take to get to Faerun? Was it?
To Phandelver? Or yeah, to Phandelver.
Phandelver. Yeah, thank you.
To get to Phandelver, let me go ahead and move us back to the world map here. So, Phandelver is located here in the foothills of the Sword Mountain. Let me make that visible to you real quick.
Oh.
So
we're like here.
You're currently... Right. Now, you are currently here along the high road. You're about 40 miles out of Neverwinter here. It's taken you about 3 days to clear this journey so far, moving at a slow pace with Molly at your back. It's not very quick going, and you think it would probably be another day and a half in order for you to reach Phandelver at your current pace.
So that's a day and a half to get there, a day and a half to get back.
That's not gonna work.
Yeah, we can't wait that long. So I guess what we have to do is we're gonna have to follow them. Not now, because we're dying. Like trying to catch up with them is a mistake. But I think what we should do
is slowly follow behind them, as I suggested not long ago.
Yes, that one. But first, we need to take care of the dead, and we need to get my javelins back.
By all means.
All right. I'm going to ask Lantern to take my javelins because I'm sure she does not want to assist me in going to each of these goblin corpses and like putting them in a respectful death position and like closing their eyes if they're open.
I mean, what's dead is dead.
What's dead is what is dead now had life once, and the value of that life means they should have a restful death. A restful death. That's my output. That's my hot take.
Very
but
fun.
Also, my javelin's in is in one of them, so I'm gonna have to get that anyway.
As you place a respectful boot and very cordially lever the javelin out of the goblin's chest here.
I do what I do what I have to do, but also what I want to do, which is let them lay on the ground in like a peaceful position. Like I'm gonna arrange them like their hands are crossing their chests, their eyes are closed. I guess I don't loot them because that'd be rude.
I would absolutely loot them. Let me loot the goblins.
We're in a hurry. We don't have time. I say as I'm giving them a funeral service.
You're doing the thing that takes the longest.
Ben, do I get all of my javelins back, or do I lose one or two?
You're always able to recover 50% of your used ammunition, which in this case I think would mean that you threw 3 of them, so you would recover 1 javelin.
Yeah, okay. Oh, Lord.
Here, let me change that down to 1,
2.
2. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
So the other two are just lost to history.
I forgot what tree one of them wound up in, and I'm assuming the other guy just ran off with my javelin in his shoulder.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess now that our affairs are settled, Molly's hidden. I'm leaving Mildred behind to watch after Molly.
You
Now,
don't want to bring your.
you
That
mentioned
reminds me.
our little stowaway earlier, Mildred, your pet mouse.
Yes.
Well, tell me
My
more
little
about
bundle
your
of joy.
Tell me more about your history with Mildred. How has a big brawny man like you come to carry a mouse in his pocket, notably through all of this chaos?
Well, mice are cute. I mean, I like all living creatures. Don't get me wrong. A mouse is probably one of the better pets for me because they don't require a lot of food. They don't require a lot of water. If need be, they're fairly self-efficient. So like I don't have to do on it like I would like a cat or a dog.
Hello, puppy.
But also like because of its small stature and nature, it's able to stay nice and out of the way. Not that the priests would forbid me from having pets per se, but any other kind of pet would be too much of a distraction between me and my holy duty. But like the mouse also keeps me sane. I guess sort of like an emotional support mouse, if that makes sense.
So
As
you
my emotional
come back
support
from
dog.
these church sanctioned executions and then tell Mildred about the blood you've shed.
No, she doesn't need to know the details. Just be like, oh man, Mildred, I'm so glad I have you in my life. You remind me why this is worth doing in the first place.
As you
I want to
set
reiterate, I don't think I've had much actual combat experience, what with being a level 1 adventurer and all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure, like you said, any of the executions I did were either like people sentenced to die, and as that's were being used for my training in the first place, or like were so wimpy pathetic that they didn't even count towards anything, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. So, Torm, as you set Mildred down within the cart, almost immediately she begins to skither about, sniffing at the supplies, turning her nose up at the freshly ground flour and the heavily salted pork. She skithers up onto the back of the cart, running along Molly's spine as she moos and shakes in displeasure. As she makes her way to the tufted head of the mox, or the tufted head of the ox, she immediately stands on 2 feet, grasping with her tiny little rat claws and squeaking at you.
Adorable. I have a question regarding Mildred, actually. I probably should have asked this sooner, but I'm asking it now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can technically cast a spell, can I make Mildred my familiar?
Because you can cast a spell? What spell
Yes.
is that? Light?
Light. I can cast light, therefore I'm a spellcaster for all
Unfortunately,
intents and purposes.
while familiars are obtainable, even for non-wizards or people without the Find Familiar spell, usually that is done with a magical creature such as a pseudo-dragon, as the bond that goes between a familiar and its master is telepathic. They can share sight, share hearing, and even administer spells through their familiars. And as close a bond as you have with dear Mildred here, unfortunately such secrets of the arcane are still hidden to you.
That's fine. In that case, I'm going to hope my animal training has been good enough that I can impart on Mildred, hey, don't steal too many of these supplies. Keep Molly safe, but also run away if your life is truly in danger. Ideally with Molly. We'll be back. We'll be back someday.
Mildred's squeaking becomes more irritable and impassioned. She runs right out to the tip of Molly's nose and continues to grasp toward you, clearly wanting something.
I stick my finger towards Mildred.
Immediately she
Lanner's
begins
gonna give Mildred a cookie.
to nibble on the tip of your finger. She's hungry.
Okay, I see. I leave her 2 days of rations.
As you begin to produce hardtack and salted jerky from your pack here, she turns her nose up at them, looking toward Lanner with a pleading expression.
Lanner leaves the tiny sack of cookies with Mildred.
Mildred
You
immediately
spoil her.
begins hauling them back into the bottom of the cart along Molly's protesting back, as almost like an ant dragging away a grasshopper.
Why are you spoiling my daughter?
She likes them.
Yeah, she likes them. Doesn't mean they're good for her. I don't even know if mice can have chocolate.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Torm. Torm, have mercy.
So,
All right.
last couple of points of business here. Torm, go ahead and take inspiration for your burial of the goblins.
Yay.
And Lanner, go ahead and take inspiration for your cookieing of the mouse. Last question though is: did you in fact loot these creatures, or were you waved off by Torm's protestation?
I looted them because you never know what sort of valuable ingredients can be found out here in the wilderness, including on the bodies of your dead enemies.
Very true.
Or they
Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Yeah. I have to ask a very important question.
By all means.
Because I gave the mouse a cookie, do I have to give her a glass of milk as well?
With that logic, Mildred will be the big bad evil guy of this campaign by the time you
No, she's not my baby. I'm sorry, Mildred. It has to be this way, and I crush her in my hand.
Oh no.
No, that will make me cry for real. Okay, we're wasting time. Let's go.
So, with a 15, as you take a moment to loot the one goblin that you have not already investigated, you find another similar coin purse to the one that you already investigated. This one a little richer, apparently. 6 silvers, 3 copper pieces within its possession. With a 15, in addition to the arms and armor, which are salvageable, should you wish to take them with you as well, though of relatively poor quality. You also find within one of the creature's pockets a noxious-looking purple and blue mushroom, twisted up and dried, almost like a shepherd's crook.
Sounds disgusting.
I want that mushroom. You don't know what it could be used for. That's something I could look into.
As you look over the mushroom, if you'd like, you're welcome to make a nature check and attempt to identify it.
Ooh, I sure will. Not a medicine check, nature check?
Nature check, yeah.
Nature check it is.
With a 9, this particular genus is unfamiliar to you, though from its immediate appearance, you would almost certainly guess that it's poisonous in some way. The precise effects it has, you're unsure.
All right. And you said it was a purple mushroom?
Yeah, little twists of purple and blue running down to its ghost white base.
All right.
So, the goblins offered a bit of dignity. Mildred fed and extremely well provisioned, probably about the size of a tennis ball by the time you get back.
Probably.
Um,
Well, I get all we can do is try and follow. So 2 goblins ran away. One went north, one went south.
one went east, specifically.
I guess that's good to know, but the point stands: which goblins' footprints do we want to try and follow?
I imagine they'd converge at some point.
Maybe, but one of them was like obviously way more panicked than the other one. I'm inclined to follow that one, if only because they're less capable of rational thought and are like, oh shit, I just gotta get back. Whereas one might be more like inclined to do like, you know,
Sneaky beaky.
yeah, like and waste their time.
Alright. Then I guess that's what we're following.
All right, I guess can we try and pick up the path of the goblin that ran north?
Yeah, if you'd like to, you're certainly welcome to. As you begin to pick your way into the undergrowth here, you can see clear signs of its passage. Broken branches, trampled bushes. Wasn't making much of an attempt to be stealthy, more like running for its life. As you try to pick up its trail, go ahead and roll me a survival check with advantage.
Yay,
You.
it's me.
Very
That's
nice.
a 15.
Good
With
stuff.
a 15, you notice a couple of things. As you begin to scan the area, you can find a number of clearings. A couple of platforms that have been very shoddily built into the trees nearby. Almost like deer blinds. You would guess that this place has probably been used to stage ambushes for some time. And after a moment, as you press your way through this clearing, you can see a small trail, larger than a game trail, and more frequently traveled, that moves to the northwest from your current position. With your survival check of 15, you can see the footprints, barefoot, claw-toed. You would guess that probably a dozen goblins or so have come and gone along the trail. And you can also see the signs of 2 human-sized bodies, drag marks recently visible upon the ground.
Human size.
One of
Oh,
those.
that's not correct.
One of them might be a little too big.
Human size. Nah. That's not our guy. But let's go.
Well, we have one. There's one human and one dwarf. I guess my question is one of these slightly wider than the other?
It certainly is, yes.
Sure were. I'm rolling with that joke. Yeah, okay, that's probably them. We should still probably continue at a slow, stealthy pace. Again, because I think if we get into one more fight, we're gonna die.
Unless we can rest.
Well, we should rest when we figure out where they are.
Where they're being held.
Yes,
And how much danger they're in.
yes. Once we assess that, we can more comfortably decide our plan of attack. So
The party perhaps, like, instead of an 8-hour long rest, would you perhaps like to take a 1-hour short rest before you set out into the wilderness here? Clear signs of murderous goblins, and who knows what else the woods hold.
I'm not getting back any of my spell slots from a short rest either way.
Yeah,
So,
but
yeah.
hopefully
We'll
you'll
get-
stop dying. Alright, I guess I will also expend hit die on this short rest we're taking.
So, here's yours.
I'm at full HP.
Very nice. God, that barbarian D12 hit die. It's the sexiest thing about the class.
Yeah. Why is your hit die a D4?
That doesn't seem right. Give me a second.
That
Why is your
definitely
hit
doesn't
die
seem
a
right.
D4?
I noticed a few things just happen to be a little funky for me, so just give me a second.
Let me fix that.
I
for you.
wanna
You're
take
an
a
artificer, so that should be a D8. That's been fixed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Artificers are the only half-casters that have a D8, as far as I know.
Half casters.
Yeah.
What makes you say half?
They get their spell slots half as fast as the full caster.
I think they get, like, max level stuff.
Yeah, artificers are in kind of a weird spot. Unlike most full casters, they do start getting their spells from level 1, but I think they only go up to level 5.
Yeah.
So there's paladins
I can't-
and rangers.
I can't click my token again.
Uh-oh.
It's only on this map. The other one I can click it, but I did also put the token on the thing myself.
That's okay. You don't need to worry too much about movement on the world map here. I'll handle that for you.
That's not me. Not 10 HP. Oh boy, I'm almost full health.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. You rolled your full hit die.
Oh,
Oh no, you rolled a 5 plus.
5 plus 3.
Well, no, that's pretty good.
It's about as good as it gets for a level 1 party. So,
Yep.
taking a moment to mend your wounds, you can already begin to hear Mildred and Molly beginning to grow a little bit of a contested relationship as the mouse occasionally skithers playfully along the ox's back and she bucks and shakes the cart behind her. Mildred's mischievous nature clearly coming into play. You can only hope that the two of them will be safe in your absence, but you can't think what else to do in this moment. The cart
I was gonna
won't
say,
make it
like,
through the thicket.
I'm going to ask Mildred to make sure she behaves, and if she does, I'll make cheese cookies
Oh,
when we come back.
oh God.
Cheese cookies?
I mean, she's a mouse, I guess, but oh God.
Okay, so hear me out. There's so many desserts that use cheese.
Cream cheese, specifically.
No, not always.
Oh, Jesus.
Mascarpone cheese. Very, very, very popular for creamy type of desserts. Like, it's used in tiramisu. You can use it for cheesecake. And I know you can use it for other things as well. So why couldn't you make a mascarpone cookie?
These are the wards of a sorceress, and if we listen any longer, we will all fall under her spell. Go ahead and make an animal handling check with advantage, as the promise of cheese cookies entices Mildred here. With a 14, she seems about ready to protest in her squeaky manner, but as you mentioned that the cookies will be cheese, she tilts her face toward you, twitches her whiskers a couple times in acquiescence, and burrows down into the cookie bag for a nap.
Traitor. Traitor. Oh,
you hear Molly's mooing protestations as you continue to move into the thicket. The big ox clearly a little bit nervous at the prospect of being left here, but
I'm sorry, Molly.
for it.
We'll be back, I promise.
Lanner wants to stroke Molly's cheek and tell her that everything will be fine. We'll be back as soon as we can. All she has to do is kick anybody who happens to not be us or anyone she knows, and everything will be fine. And I'll make sure I'll try and find something for her as well.
Playing off that 14 animal handling, she rests her big head in your palm for a moment, and then, as you get to the part about kicking people, you see a mischievous glint in her eye, as though she relishes the possibility.
People isn't Mildred. Don't kick Mildred.
So, as the party begins to press your way off into the thicket, the trail is very easy to follow. The goblins having made no attempts to conceal their comings or goings. Who's helming this trek?
I will be.
He's the one who was able to track him, so...
It's also my job to put my to shield Lantern from incoming threat. So if there's danger to be had, I am at the forefront.
And before we continue, I just want to make a statement about what I'm looking at this moment. Some years back, I dressed up as a bunny maid, along with some other coworkers of mine, and the bunny ear hairband thing, covered in black sequins and everything. James is wearing that right now.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
My little ADHD brain is just kind of grabbing that stuff right now.
I just thought it would be...
I mean, the bunny ears are antennas. They're helping him make good decisions in combat.
Oh, they're not doing a very good job. We'll see what happens.
Oh, man. I mean, technically, I do own my own business. I could institute a bunny-based dress code and just show up like that.
No, dress codes are evil. Banish them.
I only have the one set of bunny ears, unfortunately.
Alas. So, As you're trekking your way down the trail here, 10, 20 minutes elapsing as you pick your way through the densely thicketed wood in the direction of the Neverwinter Woods to the northwest here. You can see as the trees grow thicker and thicker with each stride. Any preparations? Any conversations as you walk?
I'm gonna complain about the walk.
I'm gonna tell her to keep it. She can complain, but keep it quiet because we are on a stealth mission over here.
I have disadvantage on stealth.
You sure do.
I admire it. So, after about 10 minutes of walking here, Torm, with your passive perception of 13, you spot something that springs out to you. Concealed in the dust of the trail here, you can see a thickly braided rope arrayed in a loop upon the ground. As you follow it back to its source, you can see a sapling that has been bent to the ground, a very crude snare having been arranged.
I'm gonna motion Lanner to step off the path for a second.
I will step aside and I'm going to say to Torm, fine, whatever, do what you need to do.
So I'm gonna grab my axe close to like where the head is with one hand, and I'm gonna use it to disarm this trap by cutting the rope.
Very good, no difficulties there. One swing of the massive great axe and the rope lies severed upon the ground. Are you going to bury it now?
No. I'll take it with me so its memory is not forgotten, and also I'll add however many feet of rope this is to my inventory.
Yeah, no, very fair. Go ahead and add 10 feet of rope to your inventory.
Yay.
Do you continue along the trail?
We sure do, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to think of what to do to prep that wouldn't involve being like, hold on, we gotta stop and do a thing for a minute. But that time is also on us. We also gotta like keep moving for time's sake, so.
Very fair. As you continue to trek another mile, a mile and a half, the thickets grow denser, faster around you, the trail practically beginning to disappear into them. As you continue to press along, a heavy coating of leaves upon the floor before you here. Torm, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Wow, how coincidental that that one is the one that's open on our thingy.
Yep.
Wow, love it.
Wow, I'm blind.
With a 6, you continue scanning for snares, for spikes, for tripwires that have been arrayed. Yet, as you tread across the particularly thick coating of leaves before you, you did not discover the pit trap that had been dug for you. A single footstep forward, and suddenly the ground is rushing up to meet you here. Go ahead and make me a dexterity save.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Maybe you should be clicking and not me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure when I was clicking, I was also rolling bad. So
Nah.
I'm gonna have an amazing combat. Wow.
Lanner, you turn down in order to snipe a few steamy passages from your romance novel. You hear an "Ah!" and a big thump, and suddenly Torm is nowhere to be seen. The wind knocked out of him 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you fall prone, the world spinning above you at the bottom of this 10-foot pit.
Ow.
What?
How embarrassing.
I guess I'm going to look around for him. Do I see the pitfall trap
Oh, you certainly do
that
now.
he could have now uncovered?
You do well.
Now that the camouflage of leaves and branches that was arrayed on top of it has been busted through entirely by your companion.
What I'm going to do is I'm gonna use the rope that's in my bag, and I'm going to tie one end to the tree, and I'm going to throw the other end down into the pit and say, "Hey, climb up.
Okay.
Come on. We don't have time for this.
We sure
You've been
don't.
looking better.
You're not wrong. You're right.
Come on."
All right. I guess I'm going to get off my ass and climb up this rope.
Very good.
Actually, before I do, is there? Can I look around and see if there's anything in this pit that like catches my eyes worth salvaging? Maybe like some goblins left some sort of thing in here.
Yeah, go ahead and make me a
It's like-
perception check.
Here comes another 6.
You owe me another quarter.
Yeah.
With a 10. As you look around at the walls of the pit for a moment, something does catch your eye. A small bronze glint embedded in one of the walls.
I guess I'll try and muscle that out before I leave.
It doesn't take much muscle, just a moment of digging with the fingers, but you produce a small copper band, looking about the size of a pinky ring. Not much in the way of adornment on it, other than a small beaten daffodil within it. You would surmise that perhaps this was the possession of another traveler who might have lost it while digging themselves out.
Oh. Well, that little moment of realization makes me a little sad. I'm going to close my eyes for a second. I'm going to hold it in my clenched fist to my chest for just the briefest of moments before pocketing it and then heading up. And then I'll also give it to Landon, I think. What are you doing over here? It's cute.
You did this to me.
What?
You did this. Yawning.
Oh, well. I gave it to her because it's a cute ring, but also I don't particularly care for worldly possessions, so she can have it.
I guess it's extra money.
Yeah, sure, add a small copper ring to your inventory.
As I had already put it into Torms, and now I have to rewrite it again.
I mean, I can hold on to it for you if you want.
Yeah, we'll just go with that, and I'll fix it later.
Littleness already over encumbered.
Yep. Well, I actually put the weight on everything.
Yeah. Yeah, but my weight should still be like 50.
Are you over encumbered?
The thing says I'm over carrying capacity. It's 153 pounds worth of stuff. What put me over on my weight was, I had common clothes.
Got you. In that case, you might want to have left those back in the cart with Molly. Perhaps some of your other objects as well, as if you are over encumbered, your speed would drop by 10 feet.
Yep, that's what I'll do. I'll leave some things behind.
Very good.
Yeah.
Looks like you've already seen. You can just click those on and off.
I sure can. But it doesn't change the carrying capacity for me. So I'm just going to assume it does. You know.
There's something broken.
Very good.
I assume.
Give me just 1 second here.
Things don't like me very much.
They sure don't.
Probably don't need a hammer. No, it's okay.
I think a hammer would be good to have. 10 torches is a bit much, but you can't turn them all on. You can only
Surely you have a torch or two.
I do, when I also have the light cantrip, which makes torches practically redundant. But, you know.
So, as you pull yourself out of the pit, catching your breath, handing the ring over to Lanner, what next?
I'll take a moment to... I'm going to be embarrassed, but I'll keep pressing forward. Maybe a little slower than before, so I don't make the same mistake twice.
Very good. Another mile, another 20 minutes or so of careful walking through this forested area, and you see something. Following the goblin's trail, you come across a large cave in a hillside about 5 miles in total from the scene of the ambush. You can see a shallow stream which flows out of the cave mouth, which is screened by dense briar thickets. There's a
Hmm.
narrow, dry path that leads into the cave on the right side of the stream. You can see rather clearly the drag marks terminating within the rock mouth of the opening.
Well, looks like we found where they were going. Where
Go
they've
ahead
been
and
taken
drag you
to.
guys. Go ahead and drag you guys to our next map here.
Yay. I love having black map. My favorite map.
Turn on daylight mode. And let me see here. So if you guys want to pull your own tokens out next to the Torm token, which I pulled here.
It's still a
Oh,
black screen
that's-
for us.
I
There
sure
we
would
go.
love to.
Okay, it's only partially a black screen now.
And see if you can move that token, Torm.
We sure
Very good.
can.
So, as the party comes forth, you can see the river flowing at a somewhat gentle pace out of the mouth of the cave. The dense briar thicket to the east, the mouth of the cave to the north. What would you like to do?
Well, I mean, we found where they're holding our guys. It's more so a matter of, can we get in and out alive? Because like, if there's roughly, I believe you said you said earlier that there might be a dozen or so goblin footprints from what we saw.
Indeed, a dozen or so moving up and
A
down
dozen.
that game trail.
So that means there are roughly 10 currently in it, roughly. We could barely handle 4. I don't think we can handle 10 on our own. So storming the entrance is out of the question. Not in our current state. What do you think?
I guess, yeah, I'll look around for another way in.
Yeah, like on this stream, for example, is the water flowing into the cave or out of the cave?
Out of the cave.
Okay. So if we were to say go underwater and try and like swim against the current, it'd be a rough time.
Not too rough. It is a stream more than a river. The thing that might be roughest about it is there being enough water for you to get underneath entirely.
Mm-hmm. But what you're saying is, in theory, if I hold my breath long enough, I could crawl under the water.
You could certainly try.
I don't know if getting wet is worth it. It could pose a tactical disadvantage.
So-
I think I would like to cross the stream and see what's on the other side of the stream.
Sure, moving
I don't know.
stealthily, or
Sure. I don't know what's over this way.
yeah, go ahead and make me a stealth check.
At disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
Very good. Let me check some
Does that say
perceptions
perception?
here.
Oh,
more
I
time?
clicked the wrong thing, but it's
That is the exact wrong modifier.
okay. Hold on here. Surely it'll click correctly this. Oh, okay. It just didn't show up at first.
Oh,
Indeed.
It doesn't matter.
alright. Then it is then.
Very good. So, as you pick your way across here with a passive perception of 10 and 8 on the stealth roll, you're in good fortune. The sentries are distracted. As you press your way across the stream, the sound of its flowing, muffling your movements, you can begin to hear a low conversation in Gobblish from somewhere within the thicket. It sounds like a good-natured argument, though you don't understand the words.
Fun.
You can hear two voices conversing.
Can I? What the frick does this do? Nope, that does nothing for me. I was gonna see if I can attempt to understand them. I may not know Goblin, but I might be able to infer some things, maybe?
Sure, make me an insight check at disadvantage.
Wow.
With a 3, beyond the guttural tones and the harsh language, it's difficult for you to gather anything other than the number, the general location. You can't see them thanks to the thicket in front of you, yet you gather that you can't be any more than 10 or 15 feet away from them.
Cool.
Hmm.
I'm going to signal over to Torm through from the other side of the stream, gesturing and making the assumption that he knows what I'm trying to say. But I'm going to be gesturing at him. I'm going to make the gestures at him in real life.
Okay.
I'm just like pointing and putting up 2 fingers.
She had me in the
And
first half, I'm not gonna lie. After that, it got kind of weird. So I'm gonna use my axe to prop myself up as I'm trying to measure. I'm using it to measure the deepness of the creek. I'm not using it to prop myself up, and I'm going to carefully cross the stream because she seems like she's trying to be like stealthy.
At its current flow, no more than 1.5 feet or 2 feet. Go ahead and make me a stealth check of your own, Torm.
I do this like here.
Let's see here.
Well,
with the 7, there's a bit of audible splashing as you misstep into the stream. You hear the conversation pause for a moment, and then you hear a dismissive sound coming from one of the goblins to the east. Make an insight check at disadvantage of your own.
okay.
With a 14, you can hear the slurred words of these creatures as they conversate. Despite not understanding the language, you can very clearly tell that they're intoxicated.
I'm gonna lean in close to her ear, and I'm gonna whisper. And what's the language called? Is the language just the same species as your race?
You can do either Kenra or Celestial. We both know those.
I'm gonna whisper in Kenra. You take one out on your own.
I thought you didn't want to kill them.
I don't want to, but we have.
What makes you say that we have to?
Clearly, we need with the murderers from before. This is a band of murder.
If you so desire to do the murder.
I'm gonna look at her, frustrated.
He gave me that look in real life, too.
I'm in character.
Like, he looked like he was so done with me.
I need a moment to steel myself for what I feel like I must do. Axe in hand, I'm gonna look back at her and I'm gonna ask her to count the 3, I guess, and that's when we'll strike. Try and get this so they real quick, super quick, so they don't even make a sound.
Okay. I'm gonna put up my hand and start a countdown with my hands, going from 3 to...
Well, hang on before we start. How are you? Are you gonna firebolt? You gonna dagger?
I'm gonna firebolt.
Okay, cool. I am.
And then 1.
All right. 3, 2, 1, and then they strike.
Very good. As you go rushing forward to the mouth of the thicket here, go ahead and rearrange your tokens, and we'll roll for initiative.
I think she's gonna be... Oh, goodness. I figured she was still coming from the grass. Where did you want to come from, Jim?
Directly in front of you. Something like that.
Very good. As the two of you come pressing your way through the thicket, immediately you can see the gobblish guards in front of you. Their short bows and scimitars leaning up against a couple of hewn stumps being used as seating arrangements, the embers of a small campfire still burning in front of them. You can see that there is a gutted rabbit that is roasting slowly over it. In addition to that, you can see the enormous pupils on the goblins' faces as they look up toward you in practical disbelief. One of them letting the blue and purple capped mushroom, half chewed, drop from its hand in amazement as they take a moment to process what they're seeing. Go ahead and roll for initiative.
Surprise round. I love those.
Aren't they the best?
Okay, that one is for Lanner. And the second one is Torm.
Oh, God.
So not too bad here, given the fact that you guys have surprise. So, the goblins...
Admittedly, since they just stoned out of their mind, I'm having second thoughts now that we're in the thick of it. Oh, no.
The goblins act first, but they take that time simply to stare at their hands, and then back to you, then back to their hands, and then back to you, before remembering that they need to scrabble for their weapons. Surprise round passing, the goblins regaining their reactions. Lanner, what would you like to do?
First things first. Are their weapons made of wood?
No, you can see that they wield, you might call them scimitars, almost more like meat cleavers, designed for the hands of a small goblin. Very crudely forged, probably beaten out of scrap metal over some small fire.
Okay. Then I guess I'm just gonna firebolt the one nearest. Actually, the one farthest.
Very good. So, from your current position, you would be firing through Torm, which would grant your enemy half cover. If you'd like to reposition, you're welcome to. Yeah, by all means, go ahead and roll the hit. 23. What's your firebolt look like, oh Alchemist?
This actually comes from, training as Kenra. They tend to go through training with several different types of combat, and her combat prowess was fire magic. So this is just raw fire, baby.
Very good. The flame gathering around the tip of the finger, leaping through the air as a lance. Go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah.
4 points of fire damage, catching him squarely in the gut. The smell of cooking leather and scorching flesh. The goblin immediately bloodied here, but not yet dead, as he comes rolling to his feet with that scimitar in hand. Anything else?
I think what I will do here is I will be like, well, I tried.
You sure did. I'm very proud of you.
On to you, sir.
Right. Well, now that I'm looking at these poor goblins and their stone little eyeballs directly, a sense of remorse washes over Torm. Also realizing, oh, this was just a bad idea in general, huh? So what he's going to do is he's going to make a grapple check against this guy right next to him. Like, he's going to let go of it. He's going to use one hand to let go of his axe, probably his left hand. And he's going to, try and, grab this dude by the throat.
You got it. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Excuse me.
An 11 here. The goblin writhes in your grasp. With a 7, though, you manage to cut off any sound, any voice, as the creature is firmly held in your grasp. Anything else?
Alright, so what I'm going to do next, with the goblin in hand, I'm going to move north so that the goblin in my hand is sandwiched between me and the other goblin that just got hired on.
Like so?
And then I'm gonna be like, we just want to talk.
Like this.
Sure. Make an intimidation check with
Down
advantage.
1.
I think he wants to be here.
No, like put me
Here?
something like that. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, make an intimidation check with advantage. Nice, with a natural 20. The goblin seems to want to talk, though is incapable of conversation in his current state.
I slightly loosen my grip on his throat.
Very good. Anything else on your turn?
No, I think that's everything I can do and should do.
Very good. Our goblin on 12 here, a little bit scorched, is regardless convinced of his own invincibility. The mushroom flowing through him. As he immediately comes rushing up to you, Torm, with the scimitar, you hear him cackling in broken common.
Mushroom spirit says, me kill you, me be king, king!
As he's going to make an attack with the scimitar here. That's going to be a critical fucking strike. Those big, round pupils clearly gather a lot of light.
Oh, I miscalculated this situation severely.
Total of 8 points of slashing damage here, Torm, as it slices in a ribbon of scarlet across your chest.
Owie.
So clearly, they're hallucinogenics that apparently really do make you invincible.
Well, I don't only have 3.
Oh, I guess I didn't do it correct. What's 15 minus 8? Thank you.
You did take the damage from the pitfall earlier, right? Which was...
You're right, I did take the damage from the
4.
pitfall. Okay, I'm at 3. I'm dying. Uh-oh.
So I did calculate it correctly.
You did. I'm the one that messed up. Thank you.
Let's see here. Torm, as the situation has changed here a little bit with that critical strike, make me one more intimidation check, this time at disadvantage, as we come to the turn of our next goblin.
Alright.
This but oh, that's me.
Oh,
No,
no.
that's him.
Oh, no, that's...
Oh, dear.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm on the correct one.
Alright, this guy no longer gives a shit about my hand on his throat.
That moment of panic is replaced by an expression of reckless bravery, as still in your grip, he is going to take that scimitar and try to shove it into your gut. With a 12,
Ow.
your hulking abdominals, man. Go on.
I think no, okay, never mind. You can continue, Ben. It's fine.
I was just going to say your hulking abdominals turn the blade to the side, a little bit of a bend at the tip.
I flex just in time.
Lanner, you're up. You can feel a sinking feeling inside of you. You feel like you're going to be stitching on another limb before the end of the day, unless you do something about it now.
And do something about it now I shall. While I don't have any first level spell slots, what I can do here is... Oh, jeez. What I can do here... Which one is the one who's hurting? Is it...
It's the guy. It's the guy downward.
This guy.
I believe it's that guy. Yeah.
Okay. Then what I shall do is I'm going to move my way over, and I'm going to kick him in the chest. No, not really.
That'd be terrible.
I'm going to go stabby.
16 absolutely hits here as you rake the dagger along the chest of the goblin that would be king. Go ahead and roll damage.
Why?
5 points of damage. He perishes, entering the bardo, completely still tripping balls. We will pray for a favorable reincarnation on his behalf.
As I do every single person I kill.
And then, because I do not have 2 daggers, because I made choices in life, I'm going to point the dagger I have at this one, and I'm going to say, so help me God, if you put another hand on that man, I'm going to kill you.
Sure, make an intimidation check.
Wow. Oh, am apparently booting up Final Fantasy 14.
Uh-oh.
Alright, well, grind out a
Get
level,
out of
and
here.
then make an intimidation check.
Um,
With a natural 1, I think the goblin can tell that you're booting up Final Fantasy XIV and are distracted as he continues to struggle in Torm's
Wait, this
grip.
dog is a weeb.
Anything else, Lana?
nope, that's all I got.
Torm.
Alright, well, despite the fact that I've got a huge ass gash on me, I feel like I'm in a favorable position with this goblin. So I'm going to ask a mechanical question. Since I have this goblin grappled, does that mean my attacks are at disadvantage?
Actually, it means that you straight up can't attack with a two-handed weapon unless you release the grapple. You could perhaps draw a javelin and stab him, though.
So here's what I was thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if I use my axe in an improvised manner as an improvised weapon?
That's fair, too, yeah.
No, we should take him alive so we can use him for information. I feel like I can do that.
Hear me out. You put the javelin into the ground, and then you slowly lower the goblin.
I think I need more than one turn to do that. Also, that'll be easier to do when he's bound by rope, and we're torturing him for information, which I would rather not do because I'm not a bad person.
I was about to say, I thought y'all were the good guys. What the fuck?
Isn't that a normal D&D trope? The heroes are just as bastardy as the villains because they are at the end they're played by nerds wanting a power fantasy.
I hate to tell you, but that's not just D&D. That's real life too.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm thinking, right, because slashing him doesn't seem like a good way to knock him unconscious. What I think I want to do is
bonk.
This cave wall to our left, is that within 5 feet of the goblin?
Totally, yeah.
Can I use the goblin as an improvised weapon to smash the wall and damage the goblin in the process?
Oh yeah,
Non-lethally.
this is effectively an unarmed attack. I can't forget. Are you a tavern brawler or?
No, I opted not to pick any feats since we were gonna have a full party.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hopefully.
No, that's fine. So I'll let you know. If you wanted to make an unarmed attack, you're more than welcome to do that. You're more than welcome to do it non-lethally. With your strength mod, you would do a total of 4 damage on a hit here.
Yeah. That's I was hoping to use like the wall as an improvised weapon so I could get like the D4 at least. But I get it.
Now, if you'd like to use your great axe as an improvised weapon, you're more than welcome to. If you want to clutch it up near the head and attempt to just slam him with the flat of the blade like a club, you're welcome to try.
Yep. Well, I guess I'll activate my rage bonus because it's do or die time. But also I'm really sad because at first I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. I'm committed. And then I saw their puppy dog eyes, and I'm like, oh no, wait, they don't have to die. And now this whole mess is happening, and I'm like, should have just trusted my gut. It's what Torm taught me.
You should have just trusted Lanner, who said, "Are you sure you want to kill some drunk?"
I rage. I'm gonna use my axe as an improvised weapon to smack this guy up the head and try and knock him out.
So that's 1d4.
1d4 plus.
So in this case, we're working with an improvised club, which will be a 1d6. But first, go ahead and roll to hit, which, since you're not proficient in improvised weapons, is effectively just a strength check.
Yep. Roll me a strength.
Very
Plus
nice.
3. Well,
That'll definitely hit.
Yep.
Very nice. Go ahead and roll me 1d6 plus 3.
I need... With 5? Okay, yeah, that works.
A concussive blow. The goblin's head spinning around so far that for a moment you're afraid that you've broken his neck. But as you see the blood bubbling in front of the nostrils here, you can tell that he is still alive, though thoroughly unconscious.
Oh.
Nothing but the sounds of the rushing stream covering up the sounds of your violence as you and Lanner there stand panting within the thicket clearing. The cave.
So in other words, that
yawning
was
before
all
you.
loud as fuck.
Hmm?
In other words, that was all loud as fuck, right?
Well, it wasn't a particularly prolonged combat. In fact, you would guess that most likely any sounds that you've made here have been covered up by the flow of water.
Hmm.
I now know that mushroom is a hallucinogen, and I will pick up. I will loot these goblins of their possessions, including the half-eaten mushroom.
Very good. 2 half-eaten mushrooms here. We'll call it just a single additional mushroom for you to add to your bag. As you loot their possessions here, they of course have their normal goods, which is the scimitar, the short bow, the scrapped leather armor. In total, 7 silver, 5 copper pieces that you pick off of these bodies here, Lanner. Although you can all practically feel your stomach rumbling at the scent of that now perfectly cooked rabbit as well.
Oh yes, I'll absolutely take a piece of that.
Yeah, I'm mentioning the Lana, like, I think we've hit our limit for the day. We need to do a tactical retreat.
I'm taking the rabbit with me.
Please do.
I love cooked meat. I have it listed on my thing. Cooked meat good.
I'm not a vegetarian, so I will indulge in the rabbit as well. I will honor its sacrifice while I consume this rabbit later, when we're not standing in front of the enemy base. But this has a question, Ben. What time of day is it?
At this point, after your travel through the thicket, it is just beginning to become not quite sunset, but that preceding golden hour that comes before it.
All right. What I'm proposing, I'm going to say this out of character because I can't think of how to say it in character. What I'm proposing, we take the bodies, both the alive one and the dead one, with us into this thicket south of us. I recommend we get far enough away that the cave entrance is still visible, and then we'll set up a long rest camp. And then once we're done long resting and interrogating
With
this
campfire.
guy, no campfire because we will die.
Yep.
But what we'll do is we can keep an eye on the entrance to keep an eye on enemy stuff going on, get all our shit back, and if we interrogate this goblin, can we do it during the long rest?
So without any aid, an unconscious creature should come around in about an hour.
Okay.
Right, but I'm saying when he comes around, do we have to stop long resting? Is that not? Would that be considered more than like light work?
Well, it depends on exactly what the nature of your interrogation is. If it's asking questions to a tied-up creature, no. If it's holding a struggling goblin over a javelin that's been planted in the ground, like you talked about, that would not exactly count as light work.
She talked about that. I don't brutalize my victims. I try and make it, humane, like putting down a rabid dog.
I mean, it's always an option.
It is always an option that I don't want to take because I'm not a torturer. I'm an executioner. There's a difference.
Anyway, we're gonna tie up that goblin and
we
gag
should-
him.
And I want to use the 10 feet of rope. It's poetic. Goblin rope on the goblin.
It is rather poetic. So, as you take a moment, is Torm the one doing the tying here?
Yep. No, I can do it.
Very good.
I trust you.
Lanner takes a moment
Don't have much
to...
build up out of murder.
How are you tying him? Are you, like, hog-tying him, or...
Yeah, I think that's correct.
You got it. It's the work of a few minutes as you carry the unconscious goblin further south in the thicket, maybe 100 feet or so away from the cave mouth, pressing yourself into a densely wooded section of the area. In the moment, your captive is well bound. After a few minutes, you can hear him beginning to stir a little bit within his unconsciousness. What would you like to do?
I'm not gonna plant it in the ground, but I am gonna I'm gonna hold the point of my javelin close to this goblin's neck, and I'm going to make a shushing motion. Like, shh.
He's not quite conscious yet at this point. I was asking more in terms of your any camping preparations, any watch preparations here.
Well, I don't think we should sleep. That's a bad idea.
So what I think I'm going to do is, I am more or less gonna, clear the space and, just to be intimidating, I'm gonna draw some random, like, magic-y looking stuff on the ground and, use my firebolt, but, like, not, like, throw it, but I'm gonna use it to make, like, singes into, like, the random magic-y looking stuff, so it kind of looks like magic is already happening with it. And, generally prepare for interrogating the goblin in a way that would maybe possibly freak him out a little.
I
I
love
think
it.
I'm sorry, you first, Ben.
Oh, I just said I love it.
I think what Dietarm's gonna do is he's gonna try and find a position where he feels like he is both well hidden, but also has a very clear, obvious view of the cave entrance.
Sure, make me a survival check as you attempt to locate such a position.
Survive.
With a
Oh,
10,
the fate! Oh, the fates despise me so much.
it's about
Yeah,
100
what
feet
do you-
out. You feel very well hidden from any passing onlookers, at least individuals who aren't actively searching for you. Yet the mouth of the cave is somewhat obscured. You think that you could probably see the comings and goings of any creatures that did not attempt to be stealthy, but it's not the most commanding view of the cave's mouth.
Well, it'll have to do.
I'm putting the finishing touches on what looks like a magic circle around him. And it's not really a magic circle, but,
Mm-hmm.
you can think that. Placing a few um, bottles of colored liquid around and
Very good. Any other preparations, or do you simply begin to wait for your captive to wake up?
Can you review what's in my bag?
Here we go. There you go. Here's your bag.
Can what?
He wants to look at his bag.
I'm gonna look at my stuff.
Got you.
I think what I'll do. Is there any way I can use my mess kits to make something without fire? Like prepare food to be more delicious without a fire.
I mean,
I
you could take
mean-
some water and you could soak your hardtack, but without proper cooking ingredients, that's probably about it. Trail rations are not the most appetizing of meals.
Okay.
I mean, we could eat the roasted rabbit that I snatched up.
Save
Very true.
some of that rabbit. But yes, like a third for me, a third for you, and then we'll leave a third for him for interrogate tactics.
Okay.
So,
And I'm also gonna get that I'm gonna make that hardtack not so hardtack, so he can have we go, hey, you made you a meal. We'll give,
Soft tack.
I don't think it'll be soft per se. It'll probably just be moist.
tolerable tack.
Tolerable tack. There we go.
So, after about an hour or so of anxious waiting, your eyes scanning the mouth of the cave the entire time, after a moment, the goblin's eyes pop open, and almost reflexively, he begins to struggle against the ropes, yet realizing the futility of his situation, after a moment he begins to scan around. If anything, those dinner plate-like eyes are more like hubcaps at this point, the pupil almost completely obscuring the iris. Whatever trip this goblin is on, it's not over.
Did you
Looks
find
around-
his mouth, by the way?
I did in fact gag him just in case he screamed upon waking.
Cool. I didn't think about that till now.
He looks around and doesn't scream. Instead, you can see his jaw just drop open slightly as you can hear muffled sounds from behind the gag.
So now that he's gonna like kneel down with him, try and get. I'm trying. I want to kneel down so that I would be on eye level if he were setting up. If that makes sense. Because I know
Okay.
he's just on the ground and tripping out.
Yeah, what do you do?
First, I'm gonna note that this trip mushroom persists through unconsciousness. That's interesting. But I guess secondly, I'm gonna slowly make my way towards him to help him up, unless he like freaks out a bit.
He doesn't really freak out so much as offers an uncanny amount of unresistance.
So I'm gonna be like, hey, so here's the deal. Normally, I would kill you because you kill people for profit.
Are you sure it's for profit?
Do you kill people for profit? I say to the goblin.
Do you take the gag out?
Yes, I will lower the gag.
As you take the gag out of his mouth, he just sits there, open-mouthed, breathing heavily for a moment, apparently not even hearing your question. After a moment, he turns his head toward you slowly and says, looks at the runes around him, the scorch marks.
Me dead? This hell?
So here's the deal. I'm gonna give him like a pat on the shoulder. You're not dead yet. Think of this as your second chance. If you keep living the way you are now, you will go to hell. However,
Ghost guide, you ghost guide. Mushroom, show goblins ghost guide.
The ghost guy, huh? The thing is, right, I may have had a mushroom or two myself. I don't quite remember what my duty as ghost guide is. Would you be willing to tell me about that a little bit?
Make a deception check at advantage.
Oh, Jesus.
Bless you.
I apparently don't know my alphabet, but we'll live.
Oh no.
It's at advantage.
I can't believe I rolled a nat 1 and a nat 20.
Twice.
Beautiful. So with the 20 here, or the 19 rather, on advantage,
He takes a big inhale and says, Ghost guide, you show Frank big secrets. You show Frank big truths about Frank. Me go back, be leader of people.
I muse this over in my head. I would love to take you back to your people. Here's what's gonna happen, Frank. We're gonna chill here for roughly 7 more hours. Feel free to dine with us. We set aside some food for you. What I want you to do is go to your cave. We get as many of your followers as possible to come back. No, hold on. I'm sorry, Frank. This is gonna take me a second. Okay, Frank. Here's the deal. I would love to guide you, and I'd love to help you, but I need you to answer some questions for me first, okay?
Oh, the trials. Yes.
So, trial number 1. Are there any non-goblins in that cave? And I point to it.
he considers it for a second and says,
Goblins, yes, lots. Is bark, rough things with fang and claw. Is soft old human, bad meat, too aged. Is Clark, big, tough, but you and me, We beat Clark. I become new leader.
I'm gonna start stroking my beardless chin. When you say beat, do you mean a trial by combat?
Yes.
These
What we
other
want
kinds
for
of
you,
trials?
yes, what we want for you is to clear the area and complete the trial by combat. Yes.
Well, if Clark is truly as big and scary as you say, you'll need to muster your forces.
Oh, big,
Well, no.
tall, hairy, long limbs, strong jaw. But he not ghost, he not spirit. Spirit Booyog. Real strong.
I'm gonna look back at the cave for a second, and I'll look back at him. I was about to do something stupid. I should clarify. I probably don't know. Does my character know what Booyog is?
Make a history check.
I will. I will help him.
With a 16, oddly enough, you have heard this term before.
Wow.
You've heard the story of a very badly burned adventurer in a tavern one time, as he said, well, we thought we had him pretty well in hand. Just a pack of goblins, right? Kill the leader, put him to rout. It's the big ones you have to worry about, you understand? Didn't see this wizened old crone, one-armed, walking on a staff. Raised that stick up, just started shouting, "Booyog! Booyog! Booyog!" Next thing I knew, there was a fucking fireball around me. You know that Booyog is the Gobblish term for magic.
Alright, second question. I need to look at my light spell. Kayla, can you show me my light spell? Can you take me to my spell page where I hopefully have light?
You know, those are cookies.
It's your computer and I hate reaching over you to do it. Thank you.
Your mother's.
Alright. Listen. Bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for another 20 feet. It's a good thing we're 100 feet away! But they might still see us. I don't know.
What were you gonna try and do?
The sun is not quite set here, so it's not quite light in the dark.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, yes, I have mighty Booyog. Let me give you my blessing with my Booyog. I'm going to put my hand over his helping of the rabbit, and I'm going to cast light with celestial because that's my spellcasting language because it's my racial magic. I'm going to make his portion of rabbit light up.
As he looks toward the rabbit, his jaw drops.
Booyog food.
Booyog food. Please help yourself.
He immediately begins to scarf down the rabbit.
I have to feed him because he's bound.
I mean, I imagined that's what you were doing. I thought you were holding it in front of his face.
I was thinking like I gestured towards it, but I light it up and then give it to him.
Like a piranha, he practically skeletonizes the morsel in a matter of seconds. Looks back at you and says,
Frank have Booyog now?
Frank has begun the process of obtaining Booyog. With my guidance, you may awaken Booyog in you someday. However, that all depends on how this trial goes. This trial by combat, if you would. Now listen to me, Frank. You and I and my friend Lanner here, we're going to camp out here for roughly another 7 hours. We're going to wait that minute of time. After that, what we're going to do, we're going to untie you. Actually, well, I'll go and untie you now. You're fine. I'm going to use one of my javelins. I'm going to start undoing his ropes. So what we're going to do, Frank, F-R-I-N-K, is that right?
Is what
He
right?
doesn't
Sorry.
know.
F-R-I-N-K, is that right?
F-R-E-N-K.
E-N-K. All right, Frank. Once those 7 hours are up, I want you to go back into that cave, get your most trusted allies to come to join your side. I'll even give them more of the booyah food. And on your way out, if you can bring that yucky old man and the other one with you, it would be a great first step.
Frank is more than happy to acquiesce to all of your requests here, nodding eagerly, eager to serve the great Booyog spirits that have appeared in front of him.
Amazing.
I mean, I am dressed in gold. I'm sure that.
Let me think. Is there anything else I want Frank to do? Well, I guess I'm going to ask him. I'm doing this out of character because I can't talk in character right now. I'm going to ask him if he knows if I gave him a stick, could he draw the layout of the cave?
Can try. Can draw. No cave. Yeah.
That sounds good to me, dude. Go for it. I give him a stick that I pick up off the ground.
As you toss Frank the stick here, as he spends most of his time just looking at you guys in admiration and amazement instead of drawing, you have to turn him back to the task a few times. Yet, the night...
Come on, buddy.
Over the course of... Over the course of the next few hours, night begins to fall. You begin to settle down into an uneasy rest. Your gobblish, quote-unquote, captive, perhaps follower now at this point, occasionally making little bursts or hiccups of noise as the epiphanies roll through his body. Yet, you wonder how long this charade can keep up. You wonder what else...
I have every intent to follow my word, right? Like, obviously, he's got to pay for his crimes, first and foremost. However, I believe in, despite my job, I believe in second chances. If someone realizes the error of their mistakes and they genuinely work towards fixing them, I'd be glad to try and help them out.
Certainly.
Like, maybe I can send him back to the Church of Torm, and he can work. He can do work there.
As you consider the possibilities of redemption, as you consider the possibilities of destruction that await you within this cave, we're going to have to find out what happens next week, as that is where our session will end for the evening.
Yup.
Nice.
That actually went on an hour longer than I think we anticipated for. But that's fine.
I mean, I kind of anticipated like midnight.
Yeah, I was thinking more like 2-hour sessions, but we can do a 3-hour session this week for sure. Why?
Sorry, I'm just messing with him.
You sure?
No, I think that was really cool. I'm thinking what I intend to do at the start of the next session is prove to him that he has some booyog in him by holding his hands and then using fireball to hold fire above him.
Oh no! Oh, don't do that! No! Don't give him self-confidence. He'll get himself killed.
I mean, that's... I can't... I almost can't see this going another way, but... the odds are sometimes with the poor goblin.
I will keep as many of these goblins alive as I can, just by killing 2 of them myself. 3 of them, 2 of them. 3 of them myself.
Yeah, good session,
No,
guys. If you have any questions or comments, I'm happy to hear them now. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna get out for the evening.
If we have questions, we'll yell them out in Discord.